didn't really help you deal with the real world. The real world is something different, completely different to school. It's not how it's all written in a book. When you actually put it into practice, you have to be adaptive.
Was there a point, Richie, where you just gave up at school, where you kind of understood this and went, I can't really learn anymore because I have to double check this shit? Like, that's what it was for me. Like, I know there's something wrong with what I'm being told. And so, like, I'm going to need more time to check this stuff. So forget it. I'm not even listening. That's what happened to me. Like, I'm like, in fact, that's where I went autodidactic. You know,
now it never made sense to me at school. So I always questioned everything. So that was classed me as a disruptive because I always used to ask them. You know, that doesn't make any sense. So
yeah,
that's when I started questioning a lot. Was when I gave up and then started questioning. I have seen with a lot of people, they have done that like before me. Like they did it very early on, or they did that all the way through school. And I'm like, yes, because that's what you've got to. Like that's in the end, that's what you end up doing to awaken or become more aware is the questioning. So, we're talking not to question, right?
I gave up on school when I had to start paying for it, and I still went back 3 times. So I did three semesters at university, and it's like each time I got to like the 3rd semester, and I'd just be getting kicked out because I'd be giving evidence that would go contrary to their narratives, such as there was one where it was like in astronomy and they're like, oh, Mars is dead. I'm like, well, here we have the latest images and that's clearly smoke coming out of the volcano. So, and they're like, no, that's impossible. Get the hell out of here, and got kicked out. And then there's another one where it was like some oil, because I live in Alberta, it's the Texas of Canada. We got oil everywhere. So I was going to like this oil preparation class thing. And like, I swear this woman was like the former VP of like BP Oil, like British Petroleum. And she was like here teaching like just for like a year or something. And like, they're going on about fracking. And I'm like, yeah, they're like, no, there's 0 harmful effects, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, here's several videos. And I just like playing on my phone of like, people literally living by the fracking wells and the gas coming out of their faucets from their water table and them lighting it on fire and literal fire coming out of their kitchen sinks and bathroom sinks. She's like, that's definitely been kicks me out. It's like, yes, because you settle with money and put them under NDA. It doesn't mean that it's not happening. All right. So it's like, it's a very, very corrupt system.
From top to bottom, dude, from top. Right.
But I mean, it is that questioning that breaks that belief. The only thing that's going to break the belief itself is the question.
Yeah. So it's like, as a Russian that grew up in Canada or like Russian origin, right? It's like always, oh, you communist F for this, and like, oh, they're evil Soviet that. So it was like from a very young age, I was questioning everything. And then it's like grade 11, it was like just one morning watching these 2 planes hit these towers and them crumbling into their own footprints. And I'm like, that's effing impossible right there. Like, even to this day, you know, like in India, you know, not really known for high quality, like their slums, right? It's made mud huts and like, sure, there's some brick, and then there was just the crash there last week, and you see the tail of this plane sticking out of this freaking mud hut building that has not come down. It didn't take the building down. Yeah, it was full of gas and it's blowing. Boom! It was huge, right? But it's like, hey, look, there's building is still standing. That is physics.
Physics be glitching there.
Yes, exactly. Physics. And yes, I've learned a lot of physics, and we'll get into that though in a sec. I
got woken up, like it was for us in Australia. What time was it? It was like, I think it was somewhere around midnight, and my mate woke me up. I was sleeping on the couch, and he's like, "Dude, you gotta watch this. You gotta watch this." I'm like, oh, what's going on? Looked, and I went, yeah, I don't want to watch another movie, dude. I'm going back to bed. Went back to bed. Woke up and it was the second plane and shit. Yeah,
it was like watching.
Took me ages to realize because I was still thinking it's a movie and stuff as well. And then when I looked at, so I had that mindset already, right? I'm looking at a movie, so I looked at it that way, and then everything broke down for me. It was the same as the moon stuff. Yeah,
I was at work. I was at work, and I was at work watching on the. I worked in a car. So, you know, it was a car showroom. So we had the showroom with a bit where everybody could sit, and there was a TV there, and they were playing it on the news. And I just remember saying, this is ridiculous. They wouldn't even bother making a movie about this because it's so fucking ridiculous. Like,
But they had made an X-Files episode predicting it. So, yes, it was already acted out.
It had to be on The Simpsons as well. Right?
So there's 3 things I will never forget that I experienced that day. Number 1, getting to high school and this one like Palestinian girl being like, oh, I can't wait until Tara gets here. Like her other Palestinian friend, she's like, they're gonna fucking bomb our country. They're gonna kill us all. And it was like, what? Like, just because they knew they're the go-to that would be blamed for it. It's like, no, it actually wasn't the Palestinians, but just their initial reaction was thinking, oh, just another excuse to attack Palestine. And then the second thing I will never forget was watching the news and hearing, oh, they arrested some dancing Israelis that were on top of a van by the river filming the airplanes hitting the buildings, and that they were arrested for suspicions, and then hearing later that day, oh, they were released, and then it never hearing about that again. And then the third thing was going to work after high school that day to the gas station and seeing gas go up from 40 cents a liter to 65 cents a liter, and then like within a week $1, and then it's like it really hasn't gone below that. Yep.
That was a fucking mission.
But yeah, I'm be right back. I'm just gonna set up my other computer here so I can show a live demo of what I was talking about. Hydrogen.
I'm just gonna knock my mic off while it's a bit windy.
This is like a black Alfie.
It is. This is a black Alfie. She's got a white streak.
Got
the
heart.
I remember when he got her.
She's got one single white toe. All the rest of them's black.
Yeah. It looks kind of very similar to Buddy's. He's got that one. It comes down sort of one side and then goes all the way. No, straight from here.
Yeah, one tiny fucking white claw.
And then my sister's got this massive black dog that's got the white heart.
Yeah.
Perfect sort of heart shape and then a little streak up. Yeah. That's their favorite spot when they trust you. Yeah. So yeah, that's magic. That's the heart spot. So it's
she's like never far away. Like
vacation, right? Yeah.
So there's
she's me. What Wallace calls her my emotional support animal, even though it's my daughter's dog.
So
I'll take any and every single dog. Like at any time. Yeah.
Every day.
There's a woman that's just moved in. A woman and her dad have just moved in, and I've known her. Like, I didn't know her, but we, would see her down by the shops and stuff, and would always say hey. And she's got a little, like a Pomeranian. And
you brought a Pomeranian bowling,
right? And and so she said to me like she's lost her villa. She's lost her villa, she's lost her apartment, and she's had to move into the hostel here with her dad. And she's just like, I think it was last year, she had a big operation on her neck to have cancer removed from her neck. So she's already had cancer.
Oh, hell.
And she said to me yesterday, and like I could see her eyes. She was really, really, it was a really important question to her. She asked me if I'd take her dog if she dies. Because her dad's
Oh, bless her.
her dad's not he's not really big enough. You know,
Mobile.
She has to bathe him and stuff. He's got mobility problems, so it's too much for him. So yeah, if she dies, can I look after her dog? Can I take her dog? And I said, yeah, of course, absolutely. So, like, it's gorgeous. He's a gorgeous Pomeranian. I might have to have his hair cut.
That's what she needs. Needs a hair trim.
I had a husky once here in the desert.
I'd love a husky.
I only had the husky for I think it was only like a couple of months, but he ran away, and I think he's still running. Yeah, but he like in the desert, you'd think a husky, like what? But it's kind of it works apparently. Yeah. Well, his hair was everywhere. That was a nightmare.
Malamutes, I often, you think, wow, they're going to be too hot. Like there's Malamutes out here.
So beautiful.
They look like they'll be too hot, but like you said, their fur actually works both ways.
Yeah, it's thermal. It's protection.
But if they move too much, they get hot. They do get hot and overheat.
Oh yeah. And dogs overheat really quickly anyway.
She does. She gets really fucking warm straight away.
That's why you don't leave them in a car.
Like to a point where they'll do it to themselves before realizing, and so they can't. It's the same as what humans kind of develop as well, like the inability to calm yourself down. Before you get to that point. We get to that point, and then we realize too late, and now I have to get out of something I've built myself up to. It's the same with like I know of this, so when I'm playing with dogs, they get very excited very quickly, and I have to.
So you have to calm them down.
Yeah. So it's like a little. Let's play. Let's calm down.
Yeah.
Let's play. And what you're doing there is kind of what we need a lot, which is that recovery time. So you're working on recovery time for them, and you're building that for them, but for yourself as well. Yeah.
Those Malamutes.
The faster and quicker you can recover, like it's like for us, it's going between sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. If you can do that really quick, you're sweet. You're cool.
Yeah.
Got a really good
somebody. Thanks for jumping up.
Those Malamutes, they're that's them big dogs, isn't it?
Who's this? Sorry, I thought that was BurnEye with two screens.
BurnEye's got his second screen up. That's 5-speed.
But
But the Malamutes, I believe those are those huge dogs, and if I'm not mistaken, a friend of mine had one, and they're very protective of kids as well.
Yeah, Malamutes
like nanny dogs.
Family, they're very protective of that. Once you're part of their pack.
Yeah, especially in the pack.
They are very protective. That's one of the things I love about them.
Yeah, we'd be out there at a pool party, man, and all them kids would be out in the field playing, and that dog would be just underneath the shade tree right by all those kids, just keeping an eye on them.
Malamutes are like they're like big German shepherds, but they've got different fur. But I love how vocal they are. Malamutes and huskies, how much they talk, and I love
them Belgian ones.
I've got a little Yorkie right now that when she looks at you, it's like a damn human looking at you.
Did you say corgi?
Yorkie.
Yorkie.
Yorkshire Terrier.
Yeah.
Yuppie little things.
Yeah,
little legs.
But they got great little personalities on them, though.
Yeah, I didn't want another dog, but I guess she wanted me. She picked me, so they finally said, "Hey, take her," because she don't listen to none of us. You know what I mean?
I said I'm not getting the only way I'm getting another dog before I get out of this hostel is if someone dies and I have to take care of it, or I come across a dog that needs to be rescued. I will rescue a dog, obviously.
Yeah.
Those are the best ones.
I'm not gonna. So if that happens, it means that it's been.
Richie, I just put it out. Like Lucky, the dog before, it was a year. Like I lost Lucky, and then I already knew I wanted another dog. That's just how it is. Anyway. Yeah, and then especially for other dogs too, they get it over. They get over it really quick, right? But yeah, I just that put it out to the universe thing. and somehow Buddy found me in the most awesome way. You know, it was a great
got
story.
you, buddy.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm
It
not
all
going to go
happened
out there.
exactly as
I'm
it
not going
should.
to go out
Yeah.
there and decide I want a dog and pick a dog and rescue a dog, because
Yeah.
I think it's irresponsible for me to do that.
But I think this is something bigger, Richie. This is manifestation. We're talking about manifestation and shit as well, right? Like, you just want to make the choice. Just make the choice. Because it's your dilemma, your conflict. Which
I need to manifest a fucking apartment and a full-time job before.
It's just the choice. But like, I'm not saying it's easy to do that. It's the hardest thing to break cycles and stuff, and break habits and all this sort of stuff. But you have to do that. You have needed to make that choice, and that's what the free or will. Sorry, not free will, but your willpower is, you know, which keeps something going with momentum, you know. I think in talking, I was watching Jeff Berwick's last video. Did you see it? He was giving a speech at Freedom Fest, and it was very interesting. It was very cool.
Who was, sorry?
Jeff Berwick, you know, the dollar vigilante. I don't know if anyone watches him here. But he did a lot on crypto and stuff, and you know my views on crypto and shit. BurnEye's got completely different views on that, but you know he was talking about manifestation and stuff, because he's gone through a journey. It was like watching you know, that comedian, the piano comedian.
Tim, what's his face?
Yeah, Tim.
Mitchum or something?
Yeah.
Is it Mitchum?
No, sorry, Owen Benjamin, right?
Oh, right.
But you've probably hit another story where you watch people awaken. You're watching people expand their awareness.
Owen,
fascinating.
Do you know what though? Owen Benjamin,
the bear dude.
Hey! But they are on a process. Let them be.
No.
Be happy that they're on that process. You know?
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm not anything against.
Totally.
It.
Yeah, I understand you did.
Yeah,
I get it.
What he's done.
He proper lost his shape, didn't he? It was hilarious.
Like Bear Terrier or whatever it is, you know, that he created. I respect that, man, and I wish I could have actually gone and taken part. If I had the money, I would have gone over there and fucking and taken part in it. But yeah, him. It's just him. It's
just some of the people.
Right. But it's another thing of.
I didn't need to think about
like you're watching it for some sort of reason.
I didn't need to think about him having sex with his missus anymore. I didn't need him talking about, you know, that's what he was talking about just all the fucking time. About how
it was more about his dad being queer, wasn't it?
How big his dick was and how you know, his sex with his missus. I'm just like, I thought you're a Christian, mate. You know?
But it's like with Jeff Berwick, because he's, you know, it's just like he does like I don't know, 2 hours long videos and stuff. So I don't know, like, who's got the time to be watching this shit. Like because I'm a kind of a video junkie and shit as well. I've done this for years, you know, where it's just the easiest way of getting information and stuff. But you have to come to some sort of get what you're watching it for. Like a lot of the times I don't know why I'm watching things until it comes up, and then I'm like, sweet, I got what I needed out of that or whatever, and I can turn the fucking video off. Is that right? It's that intuition sort of thing where it's like, I don't have to watch the whole thing, but there is something here for me, or else this won't be happening. That's part of being in the now too, is like accepting those things. And it doesn't matter whether
watch everything
negative or whatever. That doesn't fucking matter. Like, that doesn't matter. It's just reality. And if you're on a journey of truth, then that's what you're being shown. Right, you've already made the choice for truth, so then you have to change to accept it, right? So you have to be open for it. So it's a matter of like that meditation, where you're constantly keeping yourself open, basically, but not in a way that open to entities and stuff, open to learn, and you have to keep a discernment. That's awareness and stuff, right? So when I say meditation, because a lot of people go, "Oh, you're leaving yourself open." And fair enough, like, I agree. And the reason I never got attacked or whatever, spiritually or whatever, is because I was close to that. right? And I was close to that naturally because I was never looking outside myself for help. I was always looking in.
Yeah.
So anything that came along, it's like, fuck off. It's coming from within. So that's a natural protection that I had somehow. I realized later.
So you're lucky. You're lucky to have had that.
Yeah.
So many people,
but the wisdom that came from it is search within yourself. You have all the answers.
Right. Yeah. It took me such a like I felt well. I guess I spent like I don't know 8 years or something. Well, no longer. I spent 14, 15 years searching outside, and then until I realized when I looked inside,
you flip it over,
right?
So you go in, and then the outside becomes confirming that.
Right, exactly. And so it was 2000.
That's kind of the completion.
2015. No, 2016. Sorry, 2016. When I finally started to look inside, and it was only when I did that I started to make progress.
Yeah, there's only one that can save you.
I mean, that's why I'm as chilled as what I am now. I used to be an absolute fucking bouncing fucking psychopath. You know, basically, you know. So I'm
same.
Mm.
You know, I kept it because of the autism shit that I had and everything. I kept that all in. So I wouldn't, but that's like a contradiction. That's like a hypocrisy thing where you can only do that for so long before you burn out, right? So yeah,
it takes a lot of
and then that caused its own social problems and shit anyway that I had to deal with. So
that's it.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not that anymore, right?
It's like looking back at a different person altogether.
Yeah.
It's like a different life.
I kind of do that in meditation a lot. Is look back on that younger self.
Aye.
It's kind of like looking forward and shit as well, because we have access to that time period in our different states. You know, it's just here that we don't, right? With our eyes open here, awake, our time is strict, but that time relaxes when we go into different states of being. So then we can explore that a lot easier. And see more truth, as opposed to us putting our kind of perceptions on top of that, you know, seeing, you know, as like what I thought of myself now. But you kind of want to go back to that being and understand their thought process and shit at the time. And then that difference, so you compare it to your now self, you compare it to your future self, and you have a lot of information that like I'm all about expanding that awareness, and then you yourself do all the corrections and everything you need to do auto-magically. That's nature. That's the self-balance.
Auto-magically. I like that.
Yeah. I think because what a lot of people are doing are creating more programs, and a program is a belief. So they're creating more beliefs on top of beliefs on top of beliefs, and you can't. That's just a mess. That's chaos, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I'm about
confusion.
Program.
What is confusion, basically?
It literally is. That's what chaos is.
Confusion. So confused.
And that confuses your whole system.
Right.
And that's what puts you out of balance.
Right. There's no coherence with your...
Coherence, a perfect word. You know, because when it's really about heart coherence. When you learn heart coherence, that's where all your systems come into alignment,
right,
in the same rhythm. And so all your systems are in coherence with the heart, which is your guidance. So it's physically going in as well, because your heart is your guide. Like it's not just energetically. All of this stuff goes on all levels, and we need to put all that together to utilize it correct. And that's expanding.
So there are people out there that would take the piss out of this and say,
they're not ready for
feelings.
Don't talk about it.
Yeah. But like you were just saying, you know, it's in your heart, right? And it's my heart that's how whatever it is that I've been speaking to and asking how, you know, how to do this and everything, and so God, we'll just say God.
Yeah.
that's how God has communicated with me, is through my heart. It's been very powerful, and it's been unmistakable because it's so powerful. But it's been my fucking heart. Obviously, not my actual heart, right?
Yeah.
But it's
I want to give a warning here, dude. You know, you can be tricked. People experience, like, people can be love bombed from entities, and that's like, if you're not aware, you could be very, very tricked with that sort of stuff. So
yeah, I'm aware
through
of that.
all of everything, that you can have that observer, that discernment. So
Right.
keep that through everything, right?
Yeah.
Because that is you.
Yeah. And don't
You
think
had to give yourself permission to do that.
I'm very aware of that, because I've already heard about how they've actually developed. They're aware of that as well.
You understand why I feel I need to give that warning, right?
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to just be misdirected and take, like, that's hypnosis. That's how they use it. You know, they use all these tricks for fucking the dark arts and shit. Like, you've got to be aware of it. As soon as you're aware, you automatically have protection against it, right? That's the only way to protect yourself, is become more aware. As soon as you know the scam, you don't fall for the scam, right? That's just the way it is, you know. And people can see that scam. Oh, I don't want to look at that scam because it's negative. Okay, you've closed yourself off to truth, you know. Which a lot of people say they're for truth and stuff, but are you really? Do you really understand what that means? Do you realize how much you're going to have to question yourself all the time?
It's truth, no matter
find truth, right?
No matter what the cost, right?
Yeah, there's different grades of it. There's different grades of it. For me, it's ultimate truth. That's it.
Right.
That's reality.
No matter the cost, no matter what it is, it doesn't matter.
And beliefs are in the way of that.
Right.
So I'm sorry, I can't have beliefs. Like, I'd love to have beliefs, dude.
Right.
I had so many. They were magical, but I had to get rid of them all. And for me, I was actually really lucky to go through my awakening, because I wasn't looking external. I was looking in. I didn't look to anyone else. Most people's awakening gets hijacked, as I call it, because they're looking outward. They're going, help me. Not, I need to help myself out. How do I do that? You go internal. You go directly to where you need to go. And then it's a pure experience in terms of it's on the frequency of this natural world, not what's placed on, not the filter put on top, or the lens put on top of the natural world. It is the natural world, which is this auto balancing thing I'm talking of. Right. And I was able to watch very clearly, very lucid. It was the tunnel thing, but it wasn't me going through a tunnel. It was all of this coming out of me, coming out of my subconscious, right? Me merging my conscious and subconscious together in this point. That's just what's happening. And I was able to see the theme throughout my life. My whole life flashed, but before my eyes, right? But that time was, it wasn't a flash. It was I could spend whatever time I needed in that space. It just didn't matter. So until you understand the lesson or whatever, what's happening here, right? For you to get what's going on. And I saw all my beliefs. Every one of these things, I could see where a belief was either taking me away from balance or towards balance. But it was always the problem. It was always away from balance. And when I got rid of the belief, that's when I went back to the path of balance, which is what I think is our general purpose here as well, right? Is everyone is on a path of balance. I can say that for sure, right? But you yourself can put you off that path. You have to bring yourself back onto that path, and it's a self-balancing path.
Too many people have got no awareness of that fact, that actually the whole point is you need to balance before you can go, and you need to balance everything. You need to balance yourself, and then
but you need that direction to go there to balance. So all you're doing is directing energy, being the director.
Just want to shout out to, because BurnEye's linked up his Facebook and his YouTube. He's still not here yet, We've got it. We've got
Sylvie.
the homunculus up, but I don't know where.
Omnipresent. Okay, I'm almost back, but I'm here, but not here.
He's omnipresent. Yeah.
He said just restarted my computer back in 5. That was 19 minutes ago, nearly, man. That was 18 minutes ago, back in 5.
Well, butchers at me
Yeah,
head.
but we prattle on.
Well,
We
I'm
have
back. I'm just not present.
He's got some stories, some experiences, some science and mysteries to share. So I'm looking
Well,
forward.
I better get well baked. I'll be back in a sec.
It is. What time is it? It's 10 to 11, and I've been live for nearly an hour and 40 minutes, and I don't think I've played this once.
When we relate to each other with attentive and generous gaze, Simone Weil said, attention is the purest form of generosity.
Celebrate good times, come on! Let's celebrate.
Hey, it's playing again.
Is it just me?
Okay, now my
Excuse-
where have you gone?
She's got that circle.
Where's everyone gone? You've disappeared there, JP. Can everybody else hear me? Are we still?
Yeah.
I hear you.
Cool.
I hear you.
So 5 speed. What's
Yes,
occurred in? What's occurred in?
These.
There he is. He's back.
Don't know what went on there. Like.
I'll tell you what, that looks like a nice sunny day.
Cheers, apart from all the whisper bits, like.
Yeah. Do you know what? That looks like our skies here every day.
Right.
Wake up, sun, you got the wispy shit, but it's basically locking the heat in at the moment, so it gets really muggy. Yesterday, Rox was saying it was just unbearable. It was like everywhere you went, it was like you were sat in a hot car without the air conditioning on.
It was proper hot yesterday. It was going to be 29 or something over the next couple of days, apparently.
Oh, well, it was in excess of 30 degrees in London.
Ooh, lovely.
It is always hotter in London, though.
I think we're a bit closer to the north than we are. Oh, there they are. You see them gone now? Oh, I'll move it there.
I'm gonna have to put you on a big screen.
Mm.
Motherfuckers. Yeah, go on, spray some more, you cunts.
It's that filter, right? So, like, it's one of the best ways to explain it because you've got the full light and then they're always putting a filter. So they're always limiting that information. So you see only a little bit of the full story, right? And then they can control it in that way. But in this sort of scenario, it's straight control, right? We're controlling what you absorb and what happens in your body and stuff.
Well, when
you're not actually absorbed.
There's certain UV rays and stuff that you get in the morning.
You're not absorbing.
You get them in the morning and in the evening. And if you don't absorb them,
right,
it affects your melatonin. It affects your melatonin production.
Serotonin,
melatonin. It affects all of that.
Right.
And that's
so. This is what I was thinking when you were having that discussion before about melatonin. You know, you want that whole story too. You want the serotonin part because they're the same thing. You know, it's just like the tiniest minute change. Yeah, it's also the same thing as DMT. So, like, it's really good to understand.
Can't see the horses there.
Yeah. So Richie's dead on. When you wake up, when the sun wakes up, when the sun's coming up, it's that 15-minute period there that is. So if you go outside and you open your eyes to this and get that in, you know,
Can you
be
say that?
at one with that, enjoy that, then you're producing serotonin at this moment. A
Oh.
lot of
Yeah, I bet I've
serotonin,
one
which is
angle.
your chemical or whatever that lets you be or helps you be happy throughout the day, happy, in a happy mood. So it's a huge mood thing, right? If you don't have enough serotonin, you're
Sunbathing horses.
tired and shit, right?
Yeah, they are. Look.
And then we come to the end of the day. Oh man, that's so cool.
It must be hot. They're laid down.
Yeah, just chilling in the sun.
Yeah, they look after themselves. That's the beauty too. Yeah.
They're
And then at the
fucking
end
class,
of the day, that's when we get another big burst of serotonin, right? But
Yeah.
the excess serotonin that we don't use is
So I
so
love
when
about living
the
here.
light goes, when we go to pure darkness, that's when it's starting to convert into melatonin. So then you have heaps of melatonin for an awesome sleep, right? That's what you need. That's your melatonin. So serotonin is your happy awake during the day, and then your melatonin is chilled out in the right mood to just go straight into sleep. And then magnesium and all of these sort of levels, you know.
And you see Pension Monument?
Yeah.
It's gorgeous, man.
Mm.
Beautiful runs, yeah. Yes.
Beautiful.
You get
view.
lost in the woods over there. It's class.
Yeah.
You are lucky. Yeah. Very lucky.
Thank you.
That's the thing about the UK. When the weather's nice, the UK is one of the most.
This is a better place to be sometimes.
It's one of the most beautiful countries on earth. It's got a little bit
Like
of
kind of more year round sort of.
There's sand dunes. There's the White Cliffs of Dover. There's marshland. There's like tropical forest. We've got a little bit of everything in the UK. But
There's the view from the garden.
like back in the 80s, when they went before they really started concentrating on geoengineering, because they were doing it back in the 90s, man. They changed the weather the weather changed in the 90s. In the 80s, it was still perfect. We still had 4 seasons. You still had. It wasn't necessarily a white Christmas, but you always had snow in the winter, and spring was spring, and summer was summer, and autumn was autumn, and it was, you know, in the summer you had at least 6 weeks of decent weather.
Put the waves in that, man. Can you see that?
I just got fucking hot and cold here. That's it. Cold, winter, and then fucking hot every other time.
Here you go from being absolutely like it's perfect. I mean, sometimes at night it can get a little bit chilly, like when the sun goes
Oh, look
down
at the funky colours in that.
in January, when the you know, when the sun disappears, then suddenly it's cold because the land, you know, hasn't been. There's not as much heat in the sun. So it hasn't heated the ambient, you know, it hasn't heated the earth, reflecting that heat back in the evening when the sun's gone. So it's colder in January, February, but it's getting hot. It's hot in the evenings now again. I'm sleeping without my duvet, basically.
Then we'll have a wander in the garden within the bare feet.
That's a good thing, man. Get your feet into the soil.
Feet off.
Running water is good as well, though. Like if you're going.
Normally, when I cut the grass, I'll just take my socks and shoes off and just wander about the grass, cutting the grass.
Mm-hmm. And having a shower is like full contact with earthing as well. So that's why everyone feels awesome having a shower, right? It's like the best. Right? But a lot of the time for people, that's all they get. That's all the earthing they get, you know. One little reset. Like
Adam, I didn't realize.
You know what I've said about how long it takes. Like if you're unearthed, it takes 15 minutes for your mind. So who's having a 15-minute shower, you know? But with something like that on the grass and stuff, like doing mowing or something, that's, you know, great.
Adam, I didn't realize that you'd been around for so long, like since 2017. I didn't realize you'd been around since the beginning, basically. Hardcore, man. Who else has been around since 2017? Since the beginning. When me and Rox first started doing
the wide awake plays and that.
Right, Bernie's here.
I was around in 17.
Yeah, but were you watching me? That's
Wide,
what I'm saying.
Wide Awake
I just
show.
met you
Adam
not
Forrest
long ago.
has been watching me and
The really woke show.
no, the Wide Awake show. It was the Wide Awake show.
That's
Yeah,
how long
Wide
I've been
Awake
around.
show.
The really woke show.
It's like,
And
no,
you had
we're
to
not
change
woke.
it?
We're really woke.
Yeah,
like,
had to
actually,
change.
we're actually woke. Woken. Right, Bernie, how you doing, mate? Let me see if I can. I don't know how to.
You know, I've noticed seems like a lot of people the last few
Quit, then, if
weeks,
you get
the
them.
internet's been shady.
My computer's running really slow.
Oh, phone's
That's what
gonna
I'm
need
saying.
charge
I'm not
shortly.
sure the
Hang on a
computer or it is the
Bernie,
internet.
are you on 1080p? You might need to put it down to 720. I've got mine on 720 because my computer's just not dealing with it very well. 1080p, which is fucking ridiculous. But there we go. There's always been shady people on the internet over 5 speed. That's the thing. I withdrew from like all of the communities a few years ago because of the amount of wonky people that were knocking them out in there.
Too many.
That's the only way you can describe them. They're wonky. They're imbalanced, wonky people. And
hey, Richie.
Yeah.
The more balanced you become, or let's put this a different way: the more smart you become, the more stupid people there are. Do you see the conundrum? Do you see the conundrum?
That's one
but
thing
it's the
that
same
always,
like with awareness. The more aware you become.
But always amazed me about this whole waking up thing and being blessed or born again, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It's once you get to that point, it's like, how in the fuck didn't I see this? It seems so childish and so simple. And then it's hard for you to have conversations with other people that aren't, let's say, as woke. And then you're like,
but if you've
why
forgiven
the fuck
yourself,
didn't you see it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you've forgiven yourself. You go, how stupid was I?
Yeah.
Like really fucking stupid. So you've already forgiven that. So you already have that.
And also, I am.
I'll help you.
I am careful to remember. I'm careful to remember that actually I might still be being stupid.
Oh no, you've always got to have that, right? Yeah. That never ends.
Well, we are sinners and not
if you're
saints,
aware of the path, you're not there. Like you're on the path. So, like, there has to be more shit that you have to wake up to, right?
I'm a work in progress, basically. Always have been. So, Bernie,
they call forward momentum, isn't it?
Okay, I'm here to share opinions, and I trust my eyes. So, okay, I gotta give, I guess, a little bit of a disclaimer first. I actually suspect, I don't believe in any model because it's like I don't know. I'm trying to find out, like we all are. But I suspect an inner Earth, a potential toroid style. But I've come to accept the multi-dimensional aspect of our realm and everything. And like you guys were saying earlier about the belief, and it's like at least 25% of the population believes it's flat. The other 25 at least believes it's globe. So both are existing simultaneously.
Right. You see what I'm
and for them, it's real as well.
In your mind's eye.
So
in the mind's eye of these people
are real. So I'm gonna get a little bit more into like the alchemy aspect, the heliocentric verse. I always forget the name of the other, but anyways,
self-centric.
There we go. Yeah.
Helio and
I posted this question earlier in my comments of there's two things that I need answered before I can fully ever accept the flat earth model of what we observe with the sun and the
Oh, damn.
Damn it, dude, we're losing you.
moon, when they appear on the
Grab it.
horizon, they appear when they're directly above you every day. Flat Earth model would represent.
We missed all of the last
We
minute
missed.
there.
Yeah.
We're still stuck.
How
I
the
Too many
centric
T's.
model fully explains that. And the heliocentric, hold on, let me finish though, because both are true. And the heliocentric model is from the single Earth-based perspective, which is our perspective. Thus, the energies that between our planet and plane and those other planets and plane are in that energetic grid, which is huge to alchemy and understanding energies and how they flow, and why astrology is such a huge aspect of it all as well. And that it's that when you go down into the plane of the stillness of your own consciousness, you need to go down to the ground to then project out, right? And it's like, so where am I getting with this?
We missed probably the first 30 seconds of that, because you got
We
really
weren't
quiet.
interrupting you. You were just garbled.
It just got really garbled. But the last part we all heard that nice and clear.
It does that.
Yeah.
I think that there's a good point that you raised there. It's like when I said self-centric.
All right. So going down into, you have to go into the micro from the 1 to the 0, right? So the 0 point, the consciousness, the single perspective, and that's where you then get from the flat plane, you get your torus back 0, and you expand out into the everything that is the multiverse. And
I say it's a singularity. Like
yes,
one
exactly.
part,
Singularity, 100%.
singularity.
That's you're bang on with that. And it's your singularity
Each one,
connected
and they all exist together.
Exactly. That's exactly it. And that from my own understanding, experiences, and I haven't really ever talked about this shit publicly because it's so fucking batshit crazy. But I swear on my life, my experiences to be true, and this is going back to both the times when I was in working private groups with Zooms 10 years ago, with both the Keshi Foundation with Mehran Kesh and his group, as well as the Resonance Foundation with Nassim Haramein and their groups of individuals and workers, and more so, especially with the Keshi groups and the Magrav plasma technologies that he was teaching, that there was then a whole bunch of subgroups of most were civilians, but I actually, because of my understanding and experiments with Sir Isaac Newton's alchemy, with the electrolysis and reproducing what Keshi calls GANs, David Hudson calls Ormus, the monoatomics, and all of that, and how my understanding of Keshi's teaching with the plasma field interactions of the atoms and the energies, that with his Magrav triple coil system, this system right here, that how it's nano coated, you make the and Keshi calls this the white stuff CO2 GANs, which is completely incorrect. It is 100%. I make it purely out of the metal element off the anode side that then dissolves into the.
It looks like jism.
Single.
It looks like jism.
That is why, 100%, and that's why
Life
it's
creation
called like God's semen, right?
Mana
But
mana
yes,
from heaven.
the mana, it is the bread, it is it all.
The
right?
seed.
So, but it's
The
fluffy
seed.
little snowflakes. Oops,
Yeah.
there we go.
Are you still? Can I ask? Are you still consuming like the
It's still alive.
colloidal silver and?
Okay, so colloidals, you don't consume colloidal. That will kill you. And I was using the term
nice
wrong.
one.
So,
Right.
colloidal will refer. Do you want to maybe large size my
Yeah.
screen?
Here you go. Hang on.
So
Go green.
You just gotta
I've
wait for my
probably got
computer.
blue is colloidal, and that is
got to take my filter off to see that. My
one
white light filter.
one of the single white. So this stuff is zinc. I made this monoatomic out of zinc. I also make it out of copper. I make it out of silver. I make it out of gold. This one here is out of silver. But also out of every metal, you can get the blue, and that is the oxidized version, and that is colloidal, and that will kill you. Blue, kill you. It is diatomic. It is not monoatomic. It is diatomic because it has the oxygen and the metal, and that is why people that get heavy metal poisoning from this stuff turn blue and look like a Smurf, is because it's filled with the diatomic that will make them die. So you do not. So, and this stuff is nanotechnology, right? It's the single molecule, single atom. So you put your finger in that. Don't do that. You're gonna. It's gonna go through your skin.
I know you weren't.
It's small enough to get in everywhere.
Hang on a sec.
Anywhere.
I know that you weren't consuming the blue stuff because I know you
But
already
I
knew
have
the blue
to
stuff was
stress
bad.
this every time.
The water.
Just for the fact. But here's the thing: the water that will be produced with this stuff too will be the oxidized ionic version of it, so that will also be poisonous and kill you, and it will dissolve into you and turn you blue. So this is what you do not use. But what you can do, and what I recommend for a disinfectant, disinfectant, it is well-known copper oxide, silver oxide, even more so, the water you can spray to disinfect things, right? So you're spraying this oxidized metal water as a disinfectant.
And that's why they put it in plasters. That's why they put it in plasters. Colloidal silver is
100%
as a disinfectant. Right.
A lot of people will call so from the monoatomic metals, you get in the water, it dissolves, and that is called ionic silver and ionic gold. And that is the water that I consume from the very top of the stuff. And so the monoatomic then dissolves back as ionic. And if you look up ionic silver and ionic gold, well, they supposedly do magic things. And well, it's 1 month away from my 40th birthday, literally. So it's like I've been drinking it for 10 years, and I think I might have aged 1 year in that 10 years. So I haven't gotten sick at all.
You were 33 when I first started watching you. I swear to God, I'm sure that's how old you were when I first saw
36, maybe 36. I've only been doing it 4 years.
Oh right, well then
36.
Yeah. Okay, so you must have been 30. Yeah, wow. Yeah. Still in your 30s, mid 30s.
We're coming to a very important number. The 40s are all where
I'm 48 in September. I'm 48.
40's the box, right? 4's the box. This is where it all comes together for you, man.
2 years away from 50, for fuck's sake. So don't worry about turning 40. You're going to be turning 50 soon enough.
Oh, exactly. I'm planning on living like a few hundred years. All right. So with the pure. So here's the key thing. When I make my white, why my stuff is even more fluffy is because, as I talked about with making the white aerogel of your monomolecule of the amino acids, when I drop the blood into the reaction, it bonds with the atomic monoatomic, and that I believe is the true ancient mana. And Another accomplishment that I've done is you can activate this. This is plasmid, I guess. Plasmoid gold. So it was the white monoatomic. Also had my white mono molecule connected, and then I put it out in the sun during the equinoxes, and then magically it turns purple. So
it's like purple, is it?
That
looks black to me. I've got the filter back on. Yeah.
I've got the straight purple gold out of it, and that I also have the straight purple silver from leaving it out on the full moons, and the same reaction happening.
I was going to say the full moon. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Has huge effects. Yeah. So this, you get to see by doing this sort of stuff, you get to see how much effect the moon has.
Yes, and the alchemists tied silver to the moon and gold to the sun. And two things I experimentally figured out, and I highly encourage people to do these tests themselves and try to prove me wrong. But I figured out that when making the monoatomic silver, it literally, the production rate follows the cycle of the moon. And that as I left it for several months going, that as the moon waxed and waned, very little was produced. And during the full moons, it was producing the most. And then one time during a super moon, it filled the entire container. So then I went on to the Alien Scientist channel with Falcon Space. A couple guys were doing experiments during right before and during an eclipse. So I started the reaction while it was a full moon. It was making a whole bunch. Eclipse happened, and it stopped production. And then as the eclipse continued on and left, it started producing a bunch again. And then I've also, then I'm like, okay, then with the gold, I have found like I could only run it for a few hours before all of a sudden it would start making this black, not good, like I guess colloidal gold, as opposed to the pure white monoatomic, and then it would oxidize. And I was like, what's wrong? Like, what's going on? And sure enough, you can only do it during the day. If you do it at night, it turns black. So again, the cycle of the sun being tied to the production of the gold, and directly its cycle. Thus,
what I love about it is you've proven that through scientific method.
Yeah,
exactly.
You've scientific method to prove that.
That is the real science, and that's why it's like it's reproducible, and I encourage others to do so to reproduce this. Right? It's like any real science.
I've done it with salts. I've produced ormus from salts, so it has like a full spectrum of metals. And I've done it with the full moon, and you always like it doubled for me was the quantity of what you'd get on the full moon by doing it on the full moon. It was amazing. It's just, you can just see it. It's so obvious and just click so many things within you. It's like, wow. But I was curious to isolate, I'm glad I don't have to do it. You've done it, but to isolate each metal and then look at that frequency. And then, because what I was seeing was a frequency that's all mixed together. So if you can isolate those frequencies and really define
exactly, and that
confirm too, like confirm the levels here.
I'm not a scientist and I don't know the answer, but my gut tells me no. My gut tells me no to this question. Can you use neon light instead of moonlight? I think moonlight is a it's very specific.
And thing. So here's the thing, though, for activating it from the white state to the purple state, it needed direct exposure of the lights of the moon for silver and for the sun for gold. But for production of these, they were done in my basements throughout the years with zero light coming in. It's literally like
with what I made, I wouldn't be able to put it in the light or it'll disappear.
Alignments.
Yeah.
This question, right? Where do you even start to learn and practice alchemy? I just want to say that alchemy, that I think there's two forms of alchemy. There's the physical, there's the material alchemy, and there's the spiritual emotional alchemy. And the first thing that you should really work on, especially if you're not a scientist and you're not well versed in using the equipment that you need to be able to do these things, the first alchemy that you should be practicing on would be spiritual and emotional alchemy. Like being
you could call that self-transformation.
Right. It's like if somebody comes at you with really bad negative energy, that you're able to
Bruce Lee it, and you got to deflect it. And if they're attacking, you can deflect it and use it back against them, right?
Well, you could. I mean,
you can absorb.
You can accidentally reflect it back on them, and which only then inflames the situation.
or on others around you. You don't want to do that, right? Like
exactly.
if someone attacks you and then you attack like your family, like
misplaced anger, right? Exactly, misplaced anger.
But also, in its essence, that's just a mirror. You're just putting a mirror up, right? Well, this is how I do it spiritually, right? Because that just gets reflected back at whoever intended. It goes straight back to them, no one else. Like you're quite safe in doing that, putting that mirror up against someone, right? You kind of know this deep down, right? That is a huge protection for you,
right? But the thing, I'll tell you what, I will say that that's what I used to do automatically. If somebody came at me with anger, I'd come straight back at them with it. I'd just mirror
I
back
have
to
give a discretion for anyone that starts reading ancient alchemical texts and like the spirit, the occult and esoteric aspects. That shit is real. It disturbs me. I hate the fact that there are demons, but I guess there's also angels. But I've never dealt with trying to summon either, because who knows if like the sigils and the spells have been mislabeled, and you don't want to bring something up and accidentally get possessed by the wrong thing. I don't know. I'm not saying either or. I hear from lots that the Michael is an angel, so hope but I don't know, right? I have no idea, but that shit, don't try to summon shit if you find the spells. All right, I'm just saying that.
Don't give your power away. That's all I'm gonna say. Don't give your power away.
And I'm gonna repeat what I said yesterday, that we are the only like sentient, spiritual, physical beings here, and that's why we're the ones that are authorized to affect actual physical change in this realm, right? And the spirits are not authorized to do that. So
there are body snatchers, exorcism, that's real. Most schizophrenia, they're talking to lots, right? And like channeling, real. Mediumship, real. It's like everyone has the power. You just have to reach stillness with yourself and your own intuition and higher.
This is where I think perception plays a massive role in it, because the way if you're perceiving these things to have these abilities to do that, you are essentially giving them permission to do it.
So you're only perceiving their filter.
What I'm saying is, actually, do you know what? You're not demons. You're not angels and demons. Like the angels don't mess with us. The angels only protect us. That's all they do is protect.
Like an angels mess with people as well. There's demons that pretend to be angels. There's all of this shit going on.
Right.
Like it's,
Yeah, so there's
don't give your power out. You have all the power. Go within. You don't need anyone or anything else.
Pray. If you want to pray to an angel and to God, you make a prayer to the angel and the God. That is your conscious will and who you're addressing, right? So it's like you don't try to summon other things because, well, that's usually how people get possessed, and just don't put your energy into it. Just don't do it, and you're good. That's what I'm saying.
Well, people kind of instinctually know, like, there's a catch.
So I'm pretty sure that like Freemasonry and like all of the freaking secret societies have succumbed to being summoned what they thought were these angels, but really, and the Islamic faith, they say they're all jinn, right? The jinn, which essentially is like a demon, right? So it's like you stated, and we've all experienced, angels, they protect, right? Like they just come and they're there in those moments that keep you alive, and it's like, thank you, God. But it's like, just don't put your energy into summoning other entities, and know that in this realm we are in control, and you don't give them power over you.
So one of the things that the smartest man in the world, allegedly, with his IQ of 200, he said that what reality is an ID, and who gives the reality that ID? You do. You identify the reality that you're experiencing, right? And that's why perception is so important, and that's why they're so hell-bent on controlling our perception of everything that's going on, by rewriting history, by controlling the media, by controlling all of the inputs, right, of energy that we have, and data. The data that is controlling the data that we're absorbing. They don't want us aware, and they don't want us basically thinking critically about what we're being fed. And I've completely forgotten where my plane took off, so I've got no idea where it's landing. Can somebody please take the wheel?
Well, that's interesting, because identity seems to be the filter on everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Multiple identities. You create identities
and
like
we
all the
are
time.
all
and people's duality in their mindset.
We are all our own singularities. We are all our own individual creator conscious that is a direct image of God, right? This is our third dimensional reality. We have the good, the bad, because it is God's will that is creation. But then when there was too much creation, there had to be a life cycle. And with the life cycle, there becomes the decay. So you have the growth and the decay, the life and the death, and then there becomes the good and the bad. And then what the third dimension is our own individual free will, and what we choose to do each day on our control of our third dimensional planet, the third rock and water from
5-speed. Thank you for mentioning duality.
It's about duality.
Well, I'm all about duality.
Exactly.
For time to play that clip.
Right, and duality is polarized, right? It's like there's the center, and then there's the opposites of it, the blue.
And that's how the energy, that's how this realm operates, right? That's how I see. You can say the universe, whatever. That's how the multiverse operates. Is this flow of energy, which is anode and cathode. It's exactly what we're doing here with the make monatomic gold and whatever. It's anode and cathode. It's positive and negative.
You got it. Polarization.
So that's how this realm works. But the thing is that the trick, I think, where we've got lost, and I think it was talked about by a 33-degree Mason, about how this reality, or this realm, right, is the realm of duality, but our consciousness is not of this realm.
Exactly.
So our consciousness is
within us.
Right. So as soon as you pick a side, you're getting involved. You're taking part in duality. But your vessel is already doing that. You have a male and a female hemisphere. You have a light and a shadow, a dark and a light and a light side. You have your spirit and your physical body. It's all taken care of by the actual vessel. Your consciousness doesn't need to take part in that game. We're supposed to just be experiencing this realm, the beauty of this realm, which is made possible by that duality, right?
Yeah, and so and using your conscious to be the third dimension of I'm going to do good, I'm going to build, I'm not going to tear down, I'm not going to hurt. And that then there's also the fourth, which is through time. So you're planning ahead, you're thinking of others, you're doing bigger things. But when you get triggered and you get the emotional response that brings your vibrational level down, where you're not even thinking for yourself, you just react. It's fight or flight. It's hate or kill or love, and right? Like it's the duality, and that is why you reset each day. When you reset your emotions, and then you get up in the morning and it's like a whole new day. But then they try to freaking manipulate us and trigger us and split us, divide us, and polarize, and get humanity attacking each other instead of working together.
And they've done that by attacking the very basic, fundamental aspects of our life that are important to us to have a good life, and that's our sleep patterns and our diet, not just food, our diet of information, our diet of data, what we're actually consuming during the day. It's always consumption, isn't it? We're constantly consuming food and data and whatever. They've got absolute control over all of that.
Eating,
right? And it's making it. That's how they've essentially dumbed us down.
Well, it's not only in what they're feeding you with information and stuff. It's like reducing that or limiting that in food and all these, like those frequencies. So you only experience a limited frequency. So, it's on every level that this is being done to you. You might as well be aware so you can actually change that so you can experience more, Hey there, Andy Sings in the audience. So,
a question I've always kind of thought about in this journey. Have we actually, as children, have we been groomed, we'll say, our whole entire lives to think psychologically a certain direction or... So have we been mind controlled since the beginning of time?
No, not since the beginning of time.
I can't speak.
Well, I mean, it had to come in somewhere near there,
Of Rome, since they sent out the Jesuit order to destroy and literally genocide and abuse humanity everywhere. First, they conquered, the Isles of England, Ireland, Scotland, and then, and Spain, right? And then there was the against the Muslims, and then also against the natives of Americas. And every single place you went, it led with the spiritual Jesuit priests that, have that original sin on humanity under their God. That, we were taught the Mayans didn't even have, or the Aztec or Inca, didn't even have writing systems. Yet it's like, no, because they burnt it all. They just like the natives in the Americas, just like how they conquered Russia, Tartary, everywhere.
I should have said shortly after the beginning of time, but because deceit steps in and everybody wants to be the big man. Everybody wants to be on top.
Well, who's the biggest?
No, it's not everybody, is it? That's the thing, though. We do this. We have this habit.
Well, I meant how they've taught us in the education system to be financially sound, and you got to get to the top
without teaching you how to do finance.
Exactly.
It's like without teaching
you money. Of what?
It's part of the enslavement and part of the miseducation that you bring up. Like, yes, like from our lives from the very beginning, 100%, we are controlled and. It's all indoctrination.
And a lot of it unwillingly, like it was just people that have already been.
I don't think humanity willingly wants to live
human
on
condition.
slavery. Like that's like
I think it's been since the fall of the Roman Empire. I think it's been since like.
Well, it wasn't a fall; it was a rise. That was the conquer.
Well, yeah.
But it was renamed and branded. So what was before that? Because we've been fucked ever since. And from Rome came the new Roman Catholic Church, led by the Jesuit order. What is the Jesuit order? It is both the legal secret society of the Vatican. It is also legally their military branch.
Right, but you know where I have a theory about that as well. I think that is I think that's a Jewish-led infiltration. I think the Jesuits are the Jewish infiltration of Catholicism.
Well, now it has been, but originally I think it was inverted. That the Zionist. And I don't say Jewish because Orthodox.
Yeah, I think you're right about Zionists,
and it's not good to mislabel because there's two different. Just like there's two types of like Islamic, right? There's the majority, which are peaceful Islam people, and then there's the extremists that are these elitist, takfirists, and the brainwashed. And you know, it's the same in all religions. There's Christian extremists too, and all sorts.
But they're Zionists. They're the Zionists. It's basically
exactly. It's just one more branch of the Anglo-Saxon Zio Empire, right?
Well, I think actually it does. It goes back to Sabtai's V. So technically, it goes back to Judaism because he 1666, he declares himself Messiah, declares the year of redemption through sin, gets 1 million followers, and then converts to Islam rather than get his head cut off. Tells all his followers to do exactly the same thing, and then to just continue in secret after, just become whatever it is that they want you to become, but continue being a Sabbatean in the under the darker night or whatever. But it's all about bringing about redemption through sin. So doing everything that you're not supposed to do, and that turned into Frankism,
feeding the dark energy of a demonic world, right?
Jacob Frank, one of the founders of the Illuminati, he claimed himself to be the reincarnation of Sabtai's V. So he did it even more hardcore. It became Sabbatean Frankism, and then that in turn became Zionism. That's my theory. I don't know, but that's my theory.
It could well be. Right, like all who looks like the leaders of the Illuminati, dark money, Rothschild, Soroses are all founders of Israel, right? So, yeah.
But it's the Zionist element. Like it's the Freemasonic. The Freemasons are controlling.
I spent 1 year in the Freemasons. I joined. I never made it past the first degree because I was just like, what the literal fuck? It was all just this Zionist fucking propaganda. It's like, it's not religious, but
let me just pause you, dude. Let me just pause you.
Zionist things, right? So
let me just pause you. Sorry, mate, because we've got a new face in the background, and I'm trying to work out if it's the same sort of. Fuck about us earlier. So Reveler Red, right? I've already been porn bombed once. So can you do the Spock sign? Can you do the Spock sign? Yeah. Go on then. Just know, like there are obvious trigger words, and if you come on shout on them straight up, I'll just kick you off again. All right. So don't use the buzzwords. Don't use the words that are going to be flagged. All right. But welcome.
Thank you.
I don't know have you come from BurnEye's or are you new?
Weekend at BurnEye's, the 80s movies. I like those now. No, I'm new. I'm just some random degenerate. I was buzzed and I'm doing an art piece and I'm just looking for random panels and I heard what you gentlemen were talking about and it's more intellectually interstitial and I relate, so I was just listening and I'll keep listening then.
And you have an amazing beard.
Well, and hair, man. Hair as well. I'm very jealous.
Beautiful.
Both.
Looks like trash most of the time. It's interesting what you were saying, the tie to the Sabbatians, because I had forgotten about them. There are some that say that that's Kabbalistic in nature, but I didn't want to. I'll be quiet and yeah.
I think it's all linked, man. It's all linked.
Oh,
Yeah.
show us your art piece first, and can you turn your phone?
I can't mate it. So
okay.
Well, let's just say this without getting the gentleman flagged. You're familiar with Carmelo Anthony?
Can't say that.
Yeah.
Not the basketball player, the other one.
No, the other one.
You know?
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I can't say much, but it's let's just say a piece of excrement that stabbed a lighter kid in the heart. So it may or may not be him looking like a Cannibal Corpse album in terms of what's being done to him through a video of mine on BitChute.
Right.
We'll leave it at that. And of course, we know that those ilk are the puppets of you know who. But I will be quiet, gentlemen.
Excellent. All right, man. I appreciate that, though. I appreciate that. That's cool.
I think all I'm gonna say is I think Elon was spurging because he's got Asperger's and he was in a bitter emotional fight and he posted the truth. I think he posted.
Oh, I don't think he was lying about Trump being in the Epstein files, but I actually don't believe that Trump took part in the Diddy style parties or fiddling with children. I think he may have flown on the Lolita Express, and he may have been to parties with that dirty little Stein. But
if you're right, listen,
there could be some photos. There could be photos of me in parties when I was in my 20s and early 30s. There could be photos of me taken with fucking criminals, right? That if I were to become a politician,
I have posted many a photo of myself with criminals throughout my entire life, but none of them are a goddamn pedophile. All right?
No. What I'm saying is, they just happen to be. I just happen to be at the same place or in the same area.
I've never happened to be around a pedophile and gotten myself.
How do you know?
Because
how do you know?
That's where I'm at with it, Richie. How can we say a lot of these things without any firsthand knowledge and then spread all of that hatred? Are we any better than these people if we're doing those types of things?
I don't murder and rape kids. I am definitely
but it's okay.
a better person
it's okay
than that,
to
right?
say somebody's a pedophile without evidence. That can ruin a man's career, his life, his family.
Okay, I just said I agree with Elon and that I've seen like the freaking flight logs many years ago when they came out and Trump's name was 7 times on Alito Express and there's pictures of him. I believe what Elon's saying. That's all I'm saying. And the fact that he's controlled, he ran on a no war policy and America first, and now he's literally got the world into the break of fucking World War III. Why would you do that? It doesn't make sense.
I think the thing with him and Elon was a publicity thing.
I don't know. Elon had a black eye, got beaten up, got thrown out, lost power. Now they passed the big bill, and now they're into World War III. Like that's something like Kash Patel, like his entire career. Epstein was murdered. He did not hang himself. Like Dan Bingo.
I made a video about this, BurnEye.
And then what happens? Did you see these eyes? Like the devil's fear of
BurnEye. I made a video about this, right? So imagine you join an organization, right? And the boss says to you, dude, if you get caught, and especially if you're going to speak, you've committed suicide. You understand? You basically committed suicide if any of these things happen, right? So with that in mind, they Kash Patel and Bongino can sit there and say he committed suicide, right? Because with that in mind, it's double speak.
It's in their eyes, man. It just play the side by side videos, the emotion, like the death of soul versus the passion of honesty and fire. Like you just got to play the videos against each other.
Are they a couple witches conjuring up spells?
No, it's like the honest emotion of like when they're campaigning, when they're like actually on it, like they're how they spoke up until they got into that moment of power. And then they spoke like in the power still like they were acting it out. And then it's like a month ago, there was just this switch. And now we're on the brink of World War III.
I can't disagree with that. That's why I've really
Iran has shut down. Okay, like fill up with gas because it's going to get really expensive soon because Iran has shut down the Strait of Hormuz. They've blown up oil tankers there. Currently, the U.S. is trying to evacuate its Fifth Fleet headquarters in Bahrain out of the Strait of Hormuz because they are about to get bombed because they want to bomb Iran. Like, it's so insane that, like, just
right.
God
I'm not. You know what I'm like about
God
scripture.
help
Right?
humanity.
You know what I'm like about scripture, but there is something in. I think it's in Revelations where they say there will be wars and rumors of wars, and I think their biggest tool, the tool that they use the most is fear. So
I do have fear of getting like taken off the street by a van and forced to a front line when martial law is installed, like it is in Ukraine. It's like, you know, like that's been going for a while. Like,
yeah, it's been going on in Ukraine, but it's not going to go on.
Yeah, but Canada, the UK, they're literally have you seen the laws that have passed lately? Have you seen like that 3/4 of our like money has just gone and our weapons all gone to supporting this war in Ukraine? Like our standards of living have all gone down substantially since this has started for 3 years, and everything's cost has gone up, you know, for 3, like it's insane. And now we're literally on the brink of all-out World War III. It needs to stop, or like you should have the fear of World War III.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, dude.
Yeah.
I think we've been in World War III since 2020.
Yes. But it's been isolated.
It's when
it actually breaks out. Like when America is declared war on Iran and Russia and China ally with it, all of us people in the West are going to be forced to be the soldiers that the Ukrainians now are. So we need to understand how absolutely insane this is and how much there needs to be pushback.
Right, but I definitely don't. I don't think fear is not something. That's not healthy.
Not live off of it, but like not let it
just
happen.
Be aware,
you know, like
right?
still live your daily life the normal way, but it's like pay attention to what's happening because it's insane, man.
Fucking bullshit war. It's distraction, and there's new troops now. It's all Cold Wars. Yeah, well, I mean, the technology. This drone war.
Oh, so don't get me wrong. Have like your faith in God and life, and sure, you die, whatever. It's all God's plan. But I'm just saying, like,
dude, listen. I'm watching
pick
a movie.
Up a gun. Just there you go.
I'm watching a movie, right? I'm watching a movie, and until I walk out of my door and look either way and see either troops on the streets or martial law, up until then I'm watching a fucking movie, and I'm just careful not to get too emotionally invested in it.
You know Ryan Upchurch, Richie?
Say again?
Ryan Upchurch?
No.
The musician. Musician.
By the way, yeah, MCM has got a point. Out of all of us, Bernie, you're the only one that's going to have to worry about getting conscripted.
Yeah. I read that, and I was like, yeah, all right.
Hey,
Yeah. That's why I have the fear of conscription in me. Yes, I do.
The Ryan Upchurch is a
And
country.
Canada is completely owned state, and it's retarded. And
well, it's a captured state.
yeah,
It's
we're captured. We are subservient, captured to both the UK and America. So I am
America,
doubly afraid.
Australia.
We're all occupied.
I'm also afraid because from Russia, the nukes have to like fly over Canada. So I'm like, that's where they're going to get intercepted. And it's like, yes, that's why I have a little bit more fear in me, I guess.
Well, what I was going to say, Richie, is
what about just
Ryan
concern?
Upchurch
You have just concern as opposed to fear.
Exactly. Concerned. I am highly, highly concerned. I am not afraid yet. I can still.
It's just
sleep,
a nicer
I
spell.
I am very concerned.
5 speed.
what I was saying is that Ryan Upchurch, he just released a song. I don't know what the name of it is, but he basically talking about how Hollywood and America is kind of one, and we're basically living in a movie. He just released that yesterday or the day before. It's a pretty cool song.
If you've got a link, you can drop a link in the private chat, and we'll have a little look.
But it's not just now. Like we've been living in a movie ever since its inception.
Right.
Yeah. Hollywood.
And also,
I mean, look at James Corbett's last thing with the Gutenberg conspiracy and all of that, right?
Right, and I think this is important as well. If people go back to like those people that were old enough to remember the war in Iraq, late 90s, and then obviously afterwards, 9/11 and everything. What they were talking about the whole time was we need to capture the hearts and minds. We need to capture the hearts and minds. Capture the hearts and minds of the people. Shock and awe to capture the hearts and minds. Right? Because that's key. That's fucking key. That's the only way that they can make what they want to manifest actually become.
That's the permission
if they
part.
capture your heart and your mind, and you're invested in what they're telling you to invest in, and
if you've given permission,
you're giving but investing heart and mind into it, you are giving permission to that reality. So that's why I say again.
Apologies. I'm gonna chill out because I got a little heated there because I seen the news of like the updates, and I was like, oh my god. But all right, so I'm gonna go have a cigarette. I'll come back, and then I'll show some more alchemy, and I'll actually show people can do themselves of how you can make your own monoatomics very safely with only a few dollars of materials. And
can you do it with batteries? Do you need to plug into the mains, or
this one right here is with a battery. You just need a AA battery or a D, anything. And I'll actually show some models I've made that you don't even need a battery. All right. So, and then I'll explain the technology that I've actually discovered.
I threw that in the back.
Process that,
Hey, excuse me. Sorry, gentlemen. 007, I subscribe. Before the young man steps out, I kind of want to show you guys, man. I don't want to get you flagged or you boot me, though. Are we allowed to show some art that might be a little bloody, or should I just not, eschew doing that?
I
want to see it, dude, but
I'd say no, just because it goes against the rules.
Oh, that's all right. Don't worry about it.
Throw your backdrop up, look at it, and make your decision from there.
Is there a back room in this?
That's all right. Don't worry about it. Yeah, you're talking about ICBMs and all. That's interesting. So this is basically a really hyper skeptic show, correct? Would I be correct in that ascertainment?
Well, you'd be right, and so everything. I completely oppose all official narratives. I don't believe any official narrative of anything that they've given us is all bullshit. They're
usually the official narrative, the exact opposite is its intent, because it's right. But that said, I believe on the scientific method and doing it myself and questioning everything and doing my own.
And that's
research.
why I've got so much respect for BurnEye, because he does. He is a scientist in that respect. He actually conducts experiments himself.
Alchemical.
You're not talking about Bernie Sanders.
No. This is Bernie Cronkin.
I felt you were talking about guys. So I had to do that. Yeah, you know what's so sad is that there's essentially no way to approach this insofar as utilizing like the logical, syllogistic, scientific method without people already having such preconceived notions. If you question what the government tells us, if you question religion, and I won't get in this one, if you question race and IQ or other things like that, if you question the big Z, the L'chaim, right? If you question any of it, you're automatically racist, bigot, homophobe, transphobe, and conspiracy theorist, nutcase, schizophrenic, Ted Kaczynski. Meanwhile, remember, some of us are old enough to remember, so I'm a bit buzzed, you know. I'm a bit of a degenerate. But remember, with Iraq, Nancy Pelosi, George Bush, Hillary Clinton, everybody, left and right. Yes, we need weapons of mass destruction. We must take action. Here, sign this. Sign Patriot Act. And that was the precursor. You're right. They could have shoved it on us, like Russia back in the day. But then I think they learned more from the Stasi after the Iron Curtain. You know, the East Deutschland, East Germany. I think it was disbanded in like the late 80s, early 90s. Where the Stasi had more a-holes snitching on each other than the NKVD, than the Cheka, than the Geheimstaatspolizei, than all that combined. But anyway, gentlemen, I'll be quiet again. But yes, you're a nutcase. You're crazy. Well, what's your evidence? What's your logical delineation of this? Because I don't know, man. This vaccine's only been out to the public for, what, a year or two? You're in a hurry to jam it in your arm? Why won't that a-hole Bill Gates jam it in his arm? Why won't that a-hole Obama, give his kids that? Why won't Trump's family take it? Oh, but you want me to take your experimental vaccine? You know, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
And same with the technology, right? Like the CEOs of the technology. Why aren't you giving this to your kids, right? Yeah, it's just another form, but it's done in so many different forms. But it's also like, those people who are reacting in that way are at a really basic level of they've only just taken that little bit. Like, I believe in that leader, and so that leader does the thing. So I don't have to look into it now if you take what's given to you like that. So the people that haven't taken what's given to them, you know that they've gone past that, at least, right? They've broken past. And usually you go through a few of those, and then you don't give a shit what anyone else thinks about you too, because, well, how can I, you can then define someone else at what level they are in and what they are going to do, what their behavioral pattern is, right? And that's what they manipulate.
But sir, it does become, as you know, it's so sad that it's like those that do more of the intellectual trench digging, so to speak. I mean, whether the actual conclusion they, arrive at is necessarily demonstrably, provably true or not, but typically it will be, but not always, right? But just the fact that somebody says, okay, look, I have information here. The secondary, or, the opposing side says this. I'm going to weigh both of these. I mean, to do that, it doesn't matter because, you're already a nut job. You're already a conspiracy theorist. You're already racist, transphobic, a heretic, Islamophobic, whatever.
Which is the belief which allows them to not listen to you.
It's the perfect.
So I don't even have to listen to whatever you've said. I can ignore it.
It's the perfect time to play this. Let me just play this.
The following directive was issued from party headquarters to all communists in the United States. It read, when certain obstructionists become too irritating, label them as fascist or Nazi or anti-Semitic.
What?
In the public mind, constantly associate those who oppose us with those names which already have a bad smell. The association will, after enough repetition, become fact in the public mind.
Fascist political party, radicals on the far right,
anti-Semitic,
xenophobic,
transphobic,
Uncle Tom's white supremacist,
domestic terrorist,
neo-Nazi organizer,
Nazis.
You are an anti-vaxxer,
Anti-vaxxers,
racist, or racist.
Whoa.
Emotional, damn it.
Emotional damage. I love it. I love that. That's a great clip right there. And you got to add into that. You got to edit in. Oh, can you hear me? There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, you got to add in Himmler's talking about repetition enough times of a lie, and it becomes the truth. You got to put that clip.
Not him. No, it was Goebbels. It was Goebbels.
Yeah, Goebbels. Yes,
yeah.
Goebbels. Yeah,
Also,
you got to put Goebbels clip in with that.
That's a good Goebbels one, and I'm new, so I'll shut up and know my place and stay out of your conversation inherently. But how about what our great a-hole of a friend Stalin, who I would argue was a way bigger a-hole than another guy with a mustache that I won't mention.
They all were. They were all
right.
owned.
Yeah.
No, Paulites. They're all Paulites. They lie, they're ticks, and they're parasites. So
yeah, but wait, but what did he
Lenin was fucking worse, wasn't he?
I'm gonna answer your question. Stop flipping the coin of the duality of which side's eviler and whatever. It's like it's all wrong, and it is the control system. So don't put your energy into it.
Well,
right?
hold on.
Just throughout all of history. So.
All right, hold on, man. Sorry, hold on. I just want to say real quick, and I'll let you reply. I just want to say what he said was that or actually, I think it might have been Lenin. My bad. That might be stupid of me.
Yeah,
but anyway, it was that what better way to basically crush the opposition than to build it ourselves. Might have been Lenin. That might have been stupid of me because I'm drunk. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All good, but it's a good point, and it's like whether it's Russian or American, Israeli or Iranian, whatever side, it's like no, the elite, like you don't put your time into it, whether it's Republican or Democrat or whatever.
Two wings of the same bird.
They just divide and conquer. So you got to put your energy into finding your own solutions. And one thing you can do, I can show right now on here if you want to make it larger, Richie. And so this was taught to me by third generation nuclear scientist physicist of Iran. His father at one point was the head of Iran's nuclear program, but that was back under the Shah before the revolution. Anyways, Mehran Kesh, and he calls it the cup of humanity, but really it is the ancient alchemical, the chalice or the cup of youth, or the fountain of youth, essentially, is the water that it produces, which is the ionic silver and gold, and it gives you the mana, the monoatomic of the element. So what's the one, whatever the golden chalice thing was called. But the point being, if you have a container that was pure gold, and then you suspend with two wires another piece of gold or silver that then goes down into that water liquid, you've created a differential for the electrons to flow, and the Holy Grail, yes, thank you, the Grail. So the Grail cup, anyone that has a silver cup, it has to be pure silver, right? But you have a silver cup is a Holy Grail just as well, and a fountain of youth just as well, because you have two, and you want to use like copper probably to connect them. But if you have gold wire or silver wire, that is best. But you have to make sure if it's copper, it never touches the water. Otherwise, it'll probably oxidize.
Battery, like a cathode and anode. Sorry.
Yeah, yes, exactly. So the self-organization and duality will create a differential of, if you put for instance, the chalice versus the coin that's in the center. The chalice is a much bigger mass, so it will become most likely the anode, and then the little
cathode,
coin will become the cathode, right? And so the cathode was what will produce the hydrogen, and off the anode, which is the decay in the reaction, the sacrificial anode, that is where you're going to get this white monoatomic of the element. So in this reaction, this is what he calls the cup of life. There's the zinc right here, and then there is a nano coated, so you have to either use a caustic solution on the cathode side of what you're making, this little coil here with the wire. But if you have silver wire, you'd use that, or gold wire preferably. But you use copper. If it oxidizes and turns blue, that becomes diatomic and it's poisonous. So you can only use it then as a disinfectant water when like cleaning your sink or bathtub or something like that. But when it is white, when it is the pure monoatomic, and this is single atom zinc and copper, it is the base of it, and those are just as healthy, and especially as I've shown with my experiments with the agricultural alchemy, where I've been using the water to grow on my garden, and that I usually get 2 to 3 times the size of, well, it's not usually, it's every time. I've documented it now 3 years in a row. On the side of the garden where I'm using the water, the ionic water from this monatomics on the plants, that literally the lettuce, the Swiss chard, the peas, the carrots, and the beets, all actually, I can bring up a picture and show it if you give me a moment. I've done it 3 years in a row. That then the water, plant watering the side with the ionic water, 2 to 3 times the size of the plants. And when compared to the other half of the garden that I'm just using the same original source of water, the tap, to water the other half of the control of the garden of the size of it. Here we go. And then there was the 1 year that I used an actual bit of the gold and silver actual monoatomics on one lettuce plant, and it grew to 6 feet tall. We literally, my dad was so like impressed, because it was like twice a week eat a salad off of just this one plant. That he got his retired agriculturalist like career friend that came and like took pictures of it to like post on his forum, because he was so mind blown. But hold on, I think I have a picture. Why doesn't it have the full garden?
YouTube just rejected my comment. I was just saying about Stalin, because they're talking about Stalin in the chat, and I just said they turned on Stalin once he served his purpose. They turned on him and basically murdered him.
Are you OOH?
Yeah, as they always do.
I subbed.
I'm 007. Yeah, man.
Double, my bad. Hey, real quick, this guy's actually pretty erudite, you know, a little long-winded at times, constructive criticism, but I understand, mate. What's interesting is that the anode is positively charged, even though they leave the device, whereas the cathode is negatively charged and they enter. You might have said that, though. But real quick, what was the independent versus the dependent variable in your experiment pursuant to the greater growth? That's what I was wondering. I'll be quiet after this, mate. Sorry.
Can you explain that just a little bit more, the question part?
Oh, no, just so the dependent variable versus the independent variable in your experiment, like the dependent, what you could help. So I guess that would be, you know, like
the growth rate of the plants. Richie, if you want to share, I got the photo up.
Oh, yeah. I remember when you started doing this, man.
Right, so here we go. There we go. All right, so on this side you can see smaller lettuce, smaller Swiss chard, and then on the back way larger. Oops, but I gotta get.
So the larger growth is the independent variable. It sounds like.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
I get. Well, it's dependent. So here you can see the lettuce, much larger, compared to, and yes, they're all starting to, this is towards the end of the summer where the seed starting to shoot up, or it's not the right term, whatever it is.
Sprout.
They go to seed. But spurt, there's one
Starting to
specific.
sprout.
That's your
So
mind.
over here, this kale and this kale got the ionic water compared to this kale and this kale that did not. You can also see, like, so this one's taller because it's going to seed, but that there's still much smaller leafed, tinier lettuce compared to what's in the back.
Do you remember the thing with the, basically you put antennas up, you put rods in the ground on the corners.
Electroculture.
Yeah,
also
electroculture. That's it. Have you tried that? Have you got any?
A bit, and yes, it really does work. There's a couple of ways.
It's yield, doesn't it? Increases yield and decreases the parasites that live on the,
absolutely.
On
the pretty garden.
So here you can see how tall the beets are as well, compared to at the front.
So again, I guess I'm looking at this a bit more too because I'm buzzed right now. The dependent variable is like predicated on the independent variable. Like it's the thing that happens that depends, but you can't really change it. So it sounds like the bigger growth that you got with ionic, or right, ionic.
So I got larger, consistently larger yields with the plants that were getting the ionic water versus just the regular tap
water. And an ion is just negatively
ionic water, which is made from the ormus. No, it's ion. So it's not. It's ionic, which means it is the monoatomic. So like the ormus. No, it's actually neutrally charged. It's that the valence shell, the outer valence shell of the ion itself, so the single atom, thus the monoatomic, why I call it the monoatomic, or single, whether it's single molecule or single atom, is that here you have, so they refer to ionic water. A lot of times they mislabel it as colloidal water, but in fact it is ionic. And that is the metals that are dissolved into the water, just like salts or sugars or any crystals dissolve in. Off the anode side of the pure metals. Yeah.
Sorry, just to clear up, so ionic, I had to look for myself too. Relating to or composed of using ions, you look up an ion. That is an atom or a molecule with a net electric charge due to the loss or gain or one or more electrons. So that's not neutronic, would it be?
No. So neutral. So you're absolutely right with that definition. The difference is when it's in the water dissolved, it is then neutral. When it is in distilled water. Okay. So it's that outer valence shell, rather than having a plus or negative charge on it, it is in fact neutral, and it is bonded in with a water molecule. And that's what's making it this ionic state. And that is what makes the ionic water the most valuable and magical, in the sense of the fountain of youth, when you have it super saturated with ionic gold and ionic silver. But in order to do that, you have to have the pure gold metal anode and the pure metal gold or silver anode as well. Like when you're making, whether it's, because when I'm making and calling it that ionic of that specific metal, it's because I'm only using that pure specific metal as the sacrificial anode that is going in and dissolving into the water itself, the distilled water itself.
I think that's an interesting word you just used there as well. Sacrificing the gold.
Sacrificial anode. Yeah. Well, and that's the actual scientific term, because it literally breaks down. And then in that reaction, you're also breaking the bond to get it to dissolve into the water. An atomic hydrogen that goes up, and you actually see it sparkle as it forms. It has this cavitation and it bubbles up, this little nano hydrogen bubble. And then on the anode side, you'll also get a second one of the metal sacrificial anode, like so for zinc or for gold or for silver, whatever metal you're using, have an oxygen chemical from that water bond with it and go down and give you your diatomic oxide of that metal. And then on your cathode side is where you will get from whether if it's a copper cathode or a zinc cathode, gold, silver, whatever you're using, you'll have a hydrogen compound, and often with an it will just be a hydrogen compound of the metal that will form a nano layer on the outside, and that is why there's always this layering. They call the calcification, but it isn't really calcium. It's
hence the
hydrogen.
Sorry,
no, the rust is the oxide. It's actually a deposit and growth on the cathode side, and it's a hydrogen compound, and usually it turns red, and it's this red. And what I'm about to say next, well, it's nuclear physics, and it's why it's so worried and why they don't allow it out is because this is where you will get a formation of deuterium and tritium of the metal that is that cathode reaction side. And that right there is it's absolutely true, but you have to have the right fields and densities to get it at a sustainable, usable rate. Right. And that is something that I have engineered to a very, very high degree. And then I have also figured out and stabilized the decay rate when I drive
Sorry. I have to interject. I apologize. I promise I will not do this afterwards on Gentleman Show. Listen, you're a very erudite young man. You're very smart. You can pontificate endlessly about mostly factual things, and you did it in practice, which is much appreciated. May I give you some constructive criticism despite being
always. Yes, please.
Yes, sir. What I would just say is I'm sure everyone here does appreciate the interstitial definition, and I was asking and looking up myself, and that's good. I would just say, if you're going into a dissertation, fine. But I would just say maybe break it down a little more simply, a little more rudimentary, and a little quicker. That's all I would say. Like, you did a good job overall. You're saying that utilizing
deuterium and tritium are by chance.
I'm not. I just know nuclear essentially starts with plutonium. And
everyone should be taught it in chemistry. And if you look at, I can actually I'll bring up the.
No, it's fine. That was just my one criticism is that you go on
ask
and
questions
sometimes
because
it's a little long.
I need to explain it. And so deuterium and tritium, they are what is used to dope a metal, aka enrich uranium or plutonium, or make them nuclear active, aka producing nuclear fuel, as well as very, very dangerous, even making it yourself retarded, because you'll probably give yourself radiation poisoning and die. I don't recommend anyone do it.
Then you'll be the IQ of Tyrell.
This is why I'm never going to conduct any of these experiments, man. I'm not.
No. But so what I'm talking about is I've engineered this stuff for 10 years, done tens of thousands of experiments, figured it all out on my own, and realized, oh my God, I have come across the holy grail of meta materials and nuclear materials, and understand how it's all so simple, but there's so much to it. It's nanotechnology, it's plasma technology, it's nuclear chemistry, and it's so much more. So there's hydrogen fuel, but Sorry, yeah, it's not the holy. The Holy Grail is the gold one with the other gold going into the 2 coins. All right, so sorry to miss.
Sorry,
what I should have said is Pandora's box.
You just need a way. You just need a way of stating partitions of that more concisely, because you're very smart. It does sound a little boring sometimes and lose people, though. Like I understand you're clearly.
Have you heard of the Nephilim or Anunnaki?
The Nephilim. I mean, we're talking about mythological things now. You're talking about science. We're talking
very
about
real.
That's arguable. That's arguable as to whether they're mythological or not.
I'm just saying. Look,
I would disagree with that. But yes, they are in the myths and legends.
Cut it down a little. Like, get to the point. You know what I mean? That's just my 2 cents. I'm sorry. Continue.
Have you heard of monoatomic gold?
I mean, I have gold in my teeth permanently. I have a copy. I have about like $4,000 in gold. Not a whole lot, but you know.
If your gold turns blue, it's going to poison and kill you. So you have to be careful.
Before I answer that question, no, hold on. Before I answer that question, though, mate, do you understand my critique of you?
Absolutely.
You're a very smart.
I'm trying to figure out what points you would like me to better explain.
No. That's all. I just sometimes I'm new and I'm nobody. I know, but like
exactly. I want to fill you in here.
Most of the wait. I was talking. Hold on, man. I was talking. Hold on, man. I'll let you talk. All right. Reciprocity. Yeah, you understand. What I'm just saying is, if there's a 30-minute lecture, no problem. Whatever these gentlemen want, it's the mate's channel. He could do it. I'm just saying, for your sake, you're a very smart young guy. You're very erudite. You're very incisive. Just sometimes you don't need to go on and bloviate for 16 minutes past what should have taken 30 seconds to 2 minutes. That's all I'm saying. Break it down sometimes and take pauses. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to stick my oar in now. I'm going to stick my oar in as the channel owner.
Sure.
This is so BurnEye's streaming to he's actually streaming to more channels than I am. BurnEye's streaming to two Facebook channels and 2 YouTube channels. So I am kind of giving him I'm giving him the floor basically. I will say a lot of it, BurnEye, flies over my head. It flies over the top of my head because I don't have any practical experience in conducting these experiments. If I were to have practical experience in conducting the experiments, it'd probably mean a lot more to me. But I also see it as extremely valuable information, and there might be someone out there that just comes across my channel that understand what's being said, and a lot of the time, those people that do understand, they're lurkers that don't comment in the chat. They're the viewers that don't leave comments. They just go away and digest the information. So I do appreciate BurnEye's scientific perspective and input. But I mean, I see what you're saying as well. I'm just trying to
get a few pictures together here, because this is a good point, and we're going to break it down.
I'll probably
I'm going to get several pictures together to explain, demonstrate what I'm talking about and how anyone can reproduce it. Specifically, I'm going to.
He's a nice guy. I'm not saying he's trying to be an asshole or anything. I don't think that. It's just that sometimes
nobody should be using uranium or the record.
And brevity is just one of those things that it's like if you're going, because then you start sounding autistic or elitist or gentrified.
I'm definitely a little bit on the spectrum.
It loses people, man. Like I could talk about logical.
I'll just say, Revler, I'll just say, I appreciate what you're saying, but BurnEye's an old friend of the channel, and most people know what BurnEye's like.
And I like you, man. I'll stay subbed. And I didn't say the N word. It's difficult for me not to. I didn't say it. And
anytime you have a question, just ask the question. Don't be afraid.
No, it's fine, bro. I'll see you guys. BurnEye, you're a smart kid, man. Like I said, just take it from the sales scumbags like me in insurance. Sometimes rudimentary, sometimes quick, sometimes the long way dissertation. That's all, man. I'll see you guys, gentlemen, later.
Gotcha.
Good day, man. I'll see you guys.
This is not a pitch. I am not selling anything, but when I do, I will take that into very high account.
He is a new to the channel, new to the panel, first time up. And I appreciate it, man. I appreciate him coming up and joining and being polite, and
absolutely,
he was brutal.
Dialogue. All right.
I love that shit too. I
Straight to
love
the
that.
point.
Like
Oh,
people
me
being
too.
honest. God bless them, man. Fucking great.
So where were we?
Truth can be brutal.
I am thirsty. I know that.
Gold.
I am thirsty. So I mean,
Coffee time.
It can be coffee time, or I can leave you guys to it.
Yeah, let's do a coffee time, and then when I get back, I got some pictures to show of like. So when I freeze the ionic water, yeah,
Wow.
this just so
Look it up,
to make
man.
you think of it. It's structured water, and that it always does these fields with the bubbles, and it literally structures and demonstrates the continued. Oops. Oh, sorry. All right. Well, that's just a tease for now. I'll actually give you the 3D image when we get back, because it's wild, and there's a lot more photos I will share. But yeah, water. I'm thirsty. Got to refill up the ions.
That's really interesting, man. I'd like to see actually from the side what they look like if they're layered. One, you know, they're obviously layered one above each other, aren't they? So, right, coffee break, peeps.
Right.
Roll them if you got them. Smoke them if you got
I
them.
was muted. I got it. I got the photo. We won't leave people. Or do we leave them hanging, or so they stay for after the coffee break? Yeah, we'll leave them hanging. But I have the photo loaded. Well,
jumping the shark.
Right. Which is it's going to be. Hang on a second.
You can flash it. Flash it. Give them a tease. Give them a tease. You
Cliffhanger.
can flash it up for half a second.
Cliffhanger.
Bum bum bum. All right, yep. All right, you're mesmerized.
Right.
I've got more. I've got hundreds of them.
That's cool.
But yes. All
Right, I'm going to have to make a fresh mocha pot. My mocha is empty. I'm going to have to make a fresh pot. That means it's going to be at least 15 minutes, guys.
I have to, great, because I have to hand grind my coffee at the moment. The grinder broke. So.
Oh my goodness. I'm going to make both of
Awesome.
you very jealous, and that I'm going to pull a little bit of an almost elitist move, but I'm working for a guy that owns a coffee
On my espresso
factory that he does his own organic import and then roasting and all of it. So it's like I just got a nice bag of pre-done coffee. So yeah.
Nice, man. I can't say I'm not jealous.
But I have been laboring my ass off, doing all sorts of labor to get that coffee. So
fair play, mate.
Work for good.
Gold, man. Gold. That's gold.
We will
That's
be
gold.
back. Keep your eyes
Much
peeled.
love. See you soon.
When we relate to each other with attentive and generous gaze, Simone Weil said, attention is the purest form of generosity.
Celebrate good times, come on. Let's celebrate.
Just imagine, I could have just done in the same book as Eric Clapton, or Mick Jagger, or Lemmy, or Ozzy Osbourne. Who has been here? Bananarama.
Something's in the water, I think. I think it's in the water, and it might be the same shit that's turning the frickin' frogs gray. You know what I mean? You know, Alex Jones reference?
Yesterday I was eating some lunches with my friend Scott. It is Mexico food. It is good. And then as we're doing it, eating it, Scott say, "Oh, I should be right back. I must drop some kids at the pool." He say. Scott have a family. He's like he's like a bachelor. He has a bachelor pad and the bachelor furniture, and he's ready always just with the ladies. No one knows one lady. He's always like different. And it's kids. He have many. He have not say anything to me. And now here, as we do choose some burritos, he go to, where is the pool? We're like middle of the Stripsy Mall, because he return it in like 5 minutes. He is return He's a little more with sweaty and is looking happy, but I did not ask of children. He, of course, it is like a secret. He have not tell to me. So, and the children, they enjoy to swim, but who now watching them? The kids. Who's watching it, you kids? Scott is not. Scott is eating the wet burrito here.
How come you pulled me out? You're in a fucking time loop, mate. Hey? You keep erasing your memory somehow and reliving the same experiences over and over again. I don't fucking remember being in a time loop. Yeah, because you keep erasing your memory, I just fucking said. Oh, yeah. Oh, you really don't remember, do you? But then you got yourself stuck in a fucking time loop in that universe, so much that you forgot what you even fucking are, cunt. And what exactly am I? Oh, you're just a fucking observer, mate. No way. What? Is that what I fucking think it is? Yeah, nah, fucking everything's possible in the multiverse. I gotta fucking go in and fucking ask a question. Yeah, do it. Alright, I'll be back. Oi! What shape do you reckon your Earth is?
The fuck? It's flat, you weirdo.
Ah.
Yeah, pretty sure it's a flatty.
Sorry, I full thought you were going to say something else.
What? That it's fucking round?
Yeah.
Do I look like a fucking idiot?
No, it was just a social experiment question. I didn't mean anything by it.
Look, I'm not one of them fucking stupid round earth pufferfish motherfuckers, alright? Been flat out all morning catching these 3-metery flatty fucking dogs. The last thing I want to think about is my flatty earth being fucking round.
Alright.
What shape's your fucking planet?
Oh, the planet I usually go to is round, and there's some people there that reckon it's flat.
I don't want to hear it, mate. If you ain't going to help me catch any dogs, I don't want to fucking talk to you.
It's about duality.
Well, I'm all about duality.
Well.
Now I'm sitting here, singing about some garbage. I don't know what to say, I don't know what to start with, and I don't even know how I can really write a song. I don't know how it goes, and I don't know what is right and wrong.
That's a joke, boy. You missed it. Went right past you. You gotta keep...
It's a weird, creepy, weird devil. The dude is not a human like the rest of us. The dude is a hybrid. He's like Lucifer from the show Lucifer. He's a creep. He's a weirdo.
Right. Back again.
All right, we're back. So round two is going to get real esoteric and real woo-woo out there.
Right.
Which is a perfect time because it's Woo-Woo Wednesday. This is episode 1.0 of the day because I got a second full Woo-Woo episode tonight with Mike Forrest of Alien Carvings. Have you guys been following the alien Upart artifacts out of Mexico at all?
No, I haven't.
It's pretty freaking wild.
And I just want to say quickly, Dana, love you, thank you. Yeah, I'm honestly, I'm paying more attention to what's going on geopolitically than to the other stuff.
Well, let's not live in that fear, and let's.
No, I'm not living in fear. I'm just, like I said, I'm watching the movie. I'm really entertained by what's going on. I'm not because I'm not buying
it's the end of the world, and we're watching it on TV. Now people are here for something else.
Yeah, man. So the esoteric side of it, like I'm the conclusion that I've reached, that I articulated yesterday in my video about, you know, this guy Chris whatever his name is, the 200 IQ smartest man on earth.
I don't believe
that. I think the fact that we're all living a subjective experience of what would be an objective reality, we can't get away from it and can't ignore it. So it means I'm trying to appreciate everything, you know, trying to appreciate that the fact that in other people's mind's eye, this universe is completely different to the way I see it in my mind's eye. And the way I see it has helped me cope with what's happened over the last 20 years. Also, like my car accident and everything. It makes sense that in one version of reality, I did actually die, but my consciousness continued in the timeline of somebody else that knew me. Somebody, you know, like somebody, I exist. We all exist in more than one reality. I exist in every reality of everybody that, you know, interacts with me or whatever. I exist in those realities as well, but it might be a slightly different version of me. And their reality is a certain.
What you just said, Walter Bosley. Do you know who Walter Bosley is?
I think I've heard the name.
Awesome guy. He's got a channel. He's former special Air Force investigator, former special FBI agent or something like that for a while. But he does a lot of stuff with Joseph Farrell, and his girl partner now is like a remote viewer. I've interviewed him several times. They're into like the megaliths in America, and he's investigated like lots of the UFO stuff and throughout. Point being, he spent some time in Iraq, and he swears to God he died in a shootout in like Fallujah or something, and then got transferred over and is like, just like you said there, in like another reality, like body in this exists. Like there's a lot of people out there that feel the same.
It explains why why when I woke up from my coma, once I'd gone back home and I was able to really take in what was going on, I felt like I was in a parallel universe because nobody else has the same perception as me. Like, so my consciousness was recognizing the universe in a certain way. I leave that vessel, go into a different version, like maybe my sister or my mum or someone close to me, you know. Maybe it's the closest person to you. It's their reality that you go into. And I went from a reality that was 60% positive, 40% negative, to one that was 70% negative, 30% positive. Like a much more pessimistic look at the world, basically. But it helps to explain that, because other people's versions of reality are different. Everybody's mind's eye picture of what's going on is different.
And your whole perception changed. Like that's when your world crashes down. Moments like that where you have to then rebuild your world again, basically.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's pretty much what they call the night of the soul sort of thing as well, right? That's what they're referring to, those
the dark night of the soul thing.
Yeah, you end up questioning yourself, which is great. Like, people think questioning yourself is wrong. No, it's awesome, you know.
I think it's where everybody actually has to start, naturally has to start, because the only thing that you can change is yourself. So in that sense, you have to question yourself. And then once you know yourself,
but it's like what Campbell talks about, where it's the statue and you're chipping away at the statue, but it's like the situation or whatever just took a whole big mob of chunks away from the statue, right? It's getting more raw. And then you basically have to rebuild your reality again. So what are your foundations, right? And then you're building from something. But like for me, like I had to get rid of all of those beliefs I built up to get back to that. It was a massive amount, right? We don't even know how much we just create beliefs on the spot for things, right? And then they go subconscious. And then, so that's when it goes subconscious, that's the choice you've already made. That's the choice you're trying to understand now or whatever. It's something you've already made a choice, but you're just not aware. You don't remember it because it's subconscious, you know, and that's a duality split, right? That's your conscious being split, right? To be here. We have to experience limit.
Right.
That's all we're experiencing, right? But you know, I don't like the false fucking limits put on us, right?
Right.
That's like caveat, you know, like, yeah, it's all good. There are limits,
like bending those strings on that guitar, but also within those limits of bending those strings, you know where the breaking point is, and you don't.
But you know, you innately know whether it's in tune or not as well, right? But that's a limit as well, right? But that's the limit, the natural. That's the nature. That's nature's limit, right? That's what we're in tune with or out of tune with, right?
See, I look at
like when you hear music and it clicks in and it follows the rules.
So here's the thing. Here's my thesis, and it's right. They've taken us as out of tune with reality and nature as possible, and tuned us into the cartoon reality that is the spell of Hollywood and this projected negative.
One example. That's one example. You're right.
But, and that but what's going on?
I say they've done this on so many levels, though.
You review that song. It explains that.
Light of the sun, new sun, this white pulsar sun, it's raising the energy of Earth's resonant frequency, which is the Schumann resonance, right? And that it was during World War II that they took the entire harmonic resonance system, the oscillating vibrational music system, out of tune with 432, which is natural and that resonates in with the Schumann resonance and everything else. And we started broadcasting out of nature's octave frequency and on this distorted octave.
It's also Schumann resonances with an S.
Yes, exactly.
That's a spectrum. Yeah.
Yes, right. And so as you keep seeing the Schumann resonance rising and spiking more and more as the sun is getting more and more active, and then we're seeing all of a sudden where, oh, the northern lights, that's not northern anymore, that's pretty close to the equator. Oh, it's going on for weeks. Oh, it continuously goes on. Oh, the sun cycle, it was supposed to, the sun, according to the sunspot 11-year cycle, and with 2023 being the supposed, should have been the last reset, we should be in a solar minimum right now. That's why there's this big debate. And they're like, oh, it's going to reset any year now. It's begun to shift its poles again. Now it's a slow process. No, it would shift freaking overnight at the end of its 11-year cycle. That's how it did it forever when it was a yellow dwarf sun. And we are now three cycles in of the sunspots going into a even larger solar maximum with auroras and energy blasting non-stop, and it only continues to do so. And they predicted, oh, our magnetic field's gonna collapse, blah blah, but it hasn't. It actually has done the opposite, and it goes boom and bangs on, and it repulses this increased energy away and saves us. And it's because we also are, and that's, you also see these huge Schumann spikes at those exact times. And it's bringing protons, it's bringing hydrogen, and then you see more rain coming. And it's like, again, the age of Aquarius has begun. We are in the 5th age of the sun.
I think they're helping the rain thing. I think that they are helping the rain thing by seeding the clouds with silver.
Well, no, it's physical electrochemistry, nuclear electrochemistry of the particles coming from the sun are actual protons, and that they get the electrons around. That's what you see, the ionized gas of the auroras as it comes in, and then it's like, oh, it's always raining and cloudy now. That's literally where the clouds and where it's coming from, the proton, which is hydrogen.
Captain Proton.
Guess they didn't like that.
You got it.
Well, I'm a lighting guy, and I don't even believe in fucking protons and shit.
Well, no,
protons, electrons, and neutrons.
Yeah, but
it's the Tron legacy, right?
Whatever the fuck it is, it turns into hydrogen that then turns into H2O.
Well, it's difficult to explain because it's a wave, right?
Well, so I have this thesis. It's called
what do they actually say? What's a proton? A packet of waves. Like, well, come on then.
Well, it's more than that. Though. That's their current
a lot of science is junk.
But it's actually it's a field established from a coherent combination of standing.
You're already saying a field is not a proton. A field is not a thing.
No, it is a proton. So this is the misconception.
It's not a thing. No, proton is the definition. Them saying it's a thing. I don't agree with that.
It is the misinterpretation of the wave particle duality experiment of that. A particle is
of which the observer.
I think it's also. I think it's also a limited vocabulary, right? I think it's a limited vocabulary.
So
that we're made to use words that conjure the incorrect images.
The oscillation rate.
If the observer changes the reality, then your beliefs, right, have a huge say in what you see, in that outcome. Then, right? If you have a false dichotomy, that's what you'll see, or even a dichotomy.
It is a field of standing waves.
Well, so what are you saying though, BurnEye?
These are one of the fundamental
things. A particle is consisted of what becomes a physical field, a volume of standing waves, the waves that are coherent and standing in their positions that are the ionic valence shell.
So what you're saying is it can push something in the real world.
So you're
the
absolutely
material
right that there might not be this proton, this neutron, or this electron particles. Actually, you're
Yes.
absolutely right. Sorry, yes, 100%. That
Right.
yes,
But
that is
what
a
you're
key
saying
part
is
of
it
it.
pushes
No, it's
yeah.
charges. It's 3 charges. You're absolutely right, and that there's the neutral mass, there's the positive mass, and then there's the negative electron. And it's their orbitals within. But that when you understand that a particle consists of these coherent standing waves, and it's literally how the energies and the shells of the atoms are built off of and connect with other atoms and molecules in their covalent bonds, and
Then we
how
go
things
into
crystallize, solidify, and go out of a liquid or a gaseous state or up into a plasma, the largest outer valent
Dana,
shell bond, but it has to be ionized. So it has to be a single atom, but it has to be a solid, and then that other outer state has to be activated. And when you do, you have light, you have heat, you have energy, and that is the plasma. And you also have consciousness in that as well, right?
Well, all we can really say is, like, we're talking about energy.
Can I speak, please? Can I speak? Dana, we're not in the Twilight Zone. We're in the BurnEye Zone. This is BurnEye Zone. Welcome to the BurnEye Zone.
We're on the spectrum right here, all right? These are just spectral opinions.
I like getting scientific, man. I'm not a scientist. I'm a philosopher. So I enjoy the science.
So I've delved deep into the plasma as from ball lightning, and then in the scientific community, when you recreate it, it's called EVOs, EVO, exotic vacuum object, and it's from John Hutchinson's production of them, and then Ken Shoulder's study of it that this term came out, and then adopted by Bob Greenier, the head of the Martin Fleischmann Memorial Project, which I work with and do a lot of streams. He's basically the head top cold fusion and plasma fusion experimental academic. He now, they've let him publish scientific papers for the last year, and I'm going to be meeting with him at Tesla Tech this year, where I'm going to be reproducing 2 types of this plasma cold fusion, demonstrating it. He's going to be taking samples of it, verifying that we're transmutating hydrogen into helium, as well as we're able to acoustically transmutate aluminum into physical iron, and that I've got the stabilization of the fields methods down, because the big problem was with this octave or harmonic phase shifting transmutation of elements, solids. But like another example, the famous one of lead to gold, but it's not just lead. There's also a major part of it is tungsten, and which that you use lead as the anode decay factor, and the tungsten has to be in the crystalline outer tungsten shell as your cathode. But the thing is, when you get monoatomic lead, you will easily poison yourself and die. Like, it actually does have a radiation breakdown decay aspect.
Lead is just depleted uranium. Lead is just depleted uranium, isn't it?
Well, you're absolutely right, but officially you're absolutely wrong. So what is amazing with what you just said is you are 100% correct that yes, uranium does, when depleted, break down into lead, and usually it's radioactive. But what I have figured out is the alchemical phase shifting transmutation cold fusion process, and that there's ways of doing it through electrolysis. And what I discovered through Sir Isaac Newton's ancient alchemy writings of the 7 colored states of transmutational metal elements, and there's a lot to it, and there's lots of different aspects of it. But what it comes down to is plasma, which in the science community is this exotic vacuum object that forms, but in the white pure light it has to be, and when it's in that pure form of this white light, then it's like usually this hydrogen is what it comes measures as, but it's a lot more than that, and it seems to also have a mind of its own when it's in this plasma ionized state. But that's a whole other wormhole that we will go down later. All right, so how far down the wormhole are we gonna go? This is Woo Woo Wednesday, and it's wild, and I'm gonna talk about things that I've never really talked about before. I said that earlier.
Is it Wednesday?
Here it actually is.
It is Wednesday, dude. Happy hump day to everybody.
Yeah.
Hold on for getting halfway through the week. We've only got another 4 days to go.
I try not to take notice.
What are your guys'
anyway.
thoughts? I'm gonna figure out how I'm gonna talk about this. I'm gonna go for smoke. But what are your thoughts before I go on stargates and portals?
I think there's something in it. There's definitely something in it, but I think that the language being used is what's confusing people. Right? I think that there are energy vortexes.
Yeah, that's a key part of it.
You can create a vortex. It's all about
the most powerful ones are when the sun and the moon are in like both alignments with the equinoxes, solstices, and full moons, and also, but especially eclipses. And it's why did they do these rituals at their henges that measured and monitored these things, and that they would form and perform rituals in these circles
on these specific energy grid
portals.
Lines. How did they know that the energy grid lines were there?
Because that's how it works, and that's where the heliocentric model of how you form and go through these portals, these stargates, especially on our own realm, is so key, and that is something I suspect.
So is it anything to do with harvesting?
Listen, to cope
well, that's
with
why they would harvest at certain times, why they do things at the different cycles of it, 100%. But
this instance seems to be energy that they're harvesting, though,
it's always yes, and that is why. And I will. So this is something I learned from you guys' community, and it was flat facts, I guess, but that discovered this. But the arches on every cathedral and most of the main buildings around the world, and all those Roman arches, okay, the sun is perfectly in alignment on those. Those are all astrological calendars. That's what it is. Yeah. It is the like when they're built, you can
there's
see
there's a definite meaning and importance behind it.
Well, no, it's a calendar. You can literally go at the equinox and the sun is in the center, and you can go on the solstices and the sun is in the other arches. That's literally
right. And here in Tenerife, we're at Guimar, we've got the pyramids of Guimar that are on the solstices perfectly in line with the sun.
That's what I'm saying. Every church is
right.
Every and it's
they're on cross points.
Well, with the arches, all the arches. Anyone with the arch.
But the thing is, to think the thing is, we're not. But normal people are trying to fit this to the paradigm that they've been given about our history, and saying, well, we were far less technologically advanced back then. So how did we know about these grid lines? How did we know about grid lines?
Well, you just have to go on the equinox, the equinox, the solstice, the summer solstice, which is what 3 days away, or 4 days away,
21st
3 days away. And go check any place that has the arch, and the sun will be setting and rising and setting on the far arch on that day.
But
Check it for yourself.
to actually achieve that, architecture, there's to be a
It's there.
certain
The
amount.
architecture is
There's to
there.
be
I'm
a-
saying do real science. Put the scientific method to what I'm saying, and I encourage everyone to go around.
You're missing
any
what I'm
arch-
saying. You're missing the point of what
I'm
I'm
not
saying.
telling anyone to build anything. I'm just saying.
What I'm saying is this: whenever these things are built, in our mind's eye of how history works, we've got more and more technologically advanced as time's gone on, right? And we're supposed to be cleverer now than we were all the way back then.
Well, they
Yeah,
are.
hang on,
cleverer than
Bernie,
ever.
please,
They're
mate,
still
hang on,
building it.
please. All the way back then, according to history, we didn't have technology and whatever, but we still had the intellect. We still had we were still able to, whatever technology it was that we used to build these arches and have them perfectly in line, because they're only perfectly in line on one day of the year or 2 days of the year.
4 days.
Four. But
Well,
it's
not
it's
just
a
4
long
days,
time.
it's more
That's a
than that.
long building time, right? Like, how do you do that? Oh well, let's build it up, right? And we'll wait until the sun gets there, and we'll line it up when the sun gets it. No, it's mathematics. They worked it out mathematically how they're going, where exactly they needed to build it, how high exactly it needed to be, exactly the dimensions of that arch. That's all math.
A lot of engineering, absolutely.
And that's incredibly advanced engineering that we were doing all the way back then, man. All the way back then. So
I agree.
We could. I don't personally think that we've had, because I don't believe in aliens I believe in extraterrestrials, but I don't believe they come from other planets. I think they come from other realities. I absolutely believe, because like I said, everybody's got their own version of reality in their mind's eye.
There's my son, Marker.
They've known this. They've known this for fucking forever. They've known this forever. That's why they've always managed to stay on top and in control. The same since that, whenever it was that they instigated.
Oh, you little shit! How did you get out? All right, boys.
They've re-engineered the way we think.
Right, exactly. They've re-engineered the way. They've re-engineered the way we think and the way we understand, the way we perceive. That's what I'm talking about. Our perceptions of this world have been fiddled with. So we're not thinking, or not us, people who are still plugged into the system. They're not thinking. Not because they're not able to. They don't have the vocabulary to describe their thoughts.
Question everything I'm saying. Absolutely.
So anyway, sorry. Continue.
You review that Upchurch song, Richie?
Dude, I haven't, mate. I've been engrossed in the conversation, so I'll have to check it out. If you put a link in the private chat, I'll check. I'll go and check it out.
Sorry about that.
I've just looked at the time, and it's nearly 1:10, so I'm gonna have to shut this stream down in 22 minutes because I've got to go and
just share a couple more of
shit to do. I've got to go and sing to the people for this afternoon. My battery hasn't arrived yet. Oh yeah, and just on a side note, you never guessed, right? I came into my room last night and I just saw that my fucking laptop charger was broken. It was like hanging out of the plug thing, and it was just broken. The end's broken off of it now. So I've got no way to charge my battery. So I'm just counting on the fact that there's going to be a battery in with this laptop that Leafy sent. There's going to be a charger in with the laptop that Leafy sent.
Leafy.
Because it's a Lenovo charger, it's going to fit this one as well. If it doesn't, it means I'm going to have to use the other laptop to charge my batteries. But yeah, fucking pissed off, man. How does that happen? I didn't.
I hear somebody trying to whip it and it's been attached.
Right? I didn't do it, but I come in and it looks like the cable's been yanked down and broken the end off of it.
No, the Robert away there.
And Dana, to answer your question, I haven't heard from him today, so thank you for prompting me. I'll message him. It's not just him. It's also John as well. John's lives near Haifa, so he's actually probably closer to the trouble than Near is. But I'll message him now and let you know. Right, sorry, carry on, Bernie. Where were we? We have only got 20 minutes, but
okay,
you want
show
to
a couple ice cubes, I guess. So shout out to the ice cube.
It's fucking wind.
It is windy. JP, thanks for muting, mate. Right, have you given it? There it is, right. Just bear with my computer, it's really slow.
So
that reminds me of Dr. Emoto and his freezing the ice with putting frequencies, you know, like telling the water you love it and then freezing it.
Absolutely. The intent, right? But so with this is what my ionic gold water. Sorry, if you want to just put enlarge my screen for a second here, I can
say again, sorry, mate. Oh yeah, right, hang on. I can. No, my computer is not.
Yeah, mine freezes all the time too. It's lame.
There we go.
So this you can see the actual gold powder that's remaining at the bottom. So that's another type of solid gold, nano colloidal gold that was broken down off the anode, and then there's just a tiny amount of the purple plasmid gold left in it in that bottle, but in this one there is still a large amount of the purple in here, and these are the water. So the colloidal or the ionic water is this water. That's what I pour into my ice cube trays, and I can show literally out of my drink there that all the cubes form with these exclusion zones and these fields within them with those separating the
layers
coming out, the layers of it.
They're like clouds, man. That's like
it is clouds. It's a little plasma.
I've actually seen. Clouds. I'm pretty sure I've seen clouds that look very much like that as well.
And here's another one. Oops, that one's not as much. There we go. That's good. But it's like they all have these triple fields. Sorry, the melting all over.
Right, they've all. That's the right. So they've all got 3 layers. There's none with 4 layers or 2 layers.
There are some with 4, never less than the 3. And then there's other ones that just do straight bolts, like lightning, like a vortex of lightning is what the silver does. So the gold does those, and then the silver does the other type that I don't currently have the picture up. It's in another folder. But yeah, they do these different structures every time they freeze.
Anybody know how to make air surface to air missiles? Anybody?
I'll tell you what, though. I bet Bernie knows how to make a cloudbuster.
All right, we're all gone.
That I definitely do. But the ancient wisdom the ancient wisdom teachers say that you can form it in your mind's eye and make your own cloudbuster too. So
right, and I'm not right. So people might just be saying it. I'm absolutely honest, right? This is honest to God. I've done that, and I've looked up at the sky, and I've kind of, and then gone back out later, and the sky's completely cleared, and I thought to myself, you know, that would be really cool to think that that was me that did that. It might have just been the wind. It might have been the slipstream, and the wind took it all away. But I do like to think that my.
But did your mind make the wind do that? And the
I
ancient
don't know.
wisdom keepers will say yes, and trust your intuition. Develop your powers, fellow wizards, warlocks, witches, and Wiccans, you know? We have it all. Just the problem is the duality we live in, right? There is an angel and demon within all of us, and it's which one do you feed? Don't feed the hate, don't feed the anger. You got to feed the love, compassion, and build, right?
Well, actually, I would say
choice.
so. I would say one thing that you can't do is repress the shadow. So you have to keep it in control.
You have to deal with your demons always, right?
You have to keep it. Just stay in control of it. Be aware of it and stay in control of it. And don't feed it. Don't feed it.
Don't feed it.
But it's like you could, because there's such a thing as toxic positivity as well. So, you know, be it, and then we come up to balance. Hey, Kalum, being balanced, being a balance.
The neutral, the balance.
Do you know what's weird about these fucking lines lately, though? You can see the white stripe going across, but directly underneath it, parallel, there's like a darker stripe.
Right, that's the carbon.
You've got 2 layers of clouds up there. There's multi-layers going on. You see them when they move in different directions.
I've seen them spraying out.
Yeah. Other aspects of that is their freaking harp technology stuff with like.
You can see that with the different patterns and the waves. You know,
part of it is to help visually dissipate the white as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
To visually help dissipate it and make it blend into the background more. But they're using carbon to do that.
Yeah.
No.
Half the time it smells like seawater and all.
I'll tell you what, right? Every time it's heavy here, I feel it. I feel it. I wake up with gunky eyes. I just. And for the last 10 days,
solar radiation, it makes everyone like energetically drained or charged or like acting freaking squirrely and all sorts of stuff. And it's like, what are they mixing into it to do that? And who's in? Like, nobody's in control. It's fucking chaos. They're doing all sorts of
it's
stupid
not regulated.
shit.
It's not regulated, is it?
Exactly.
They've got you like when you've got anyone can basically go and seed clouds.
Do you think though, if it was regulated, do you not think that would be corrupted and maybe even worse?
Absolutely.
Like
At
all
least
the
we
other
would know
systems
what's
that are
going into it and then how to detox specifically from each thing in your area, right? Because it's like, oh man.
But it is important to understand that
you
it's
need to be
absolutely
aware.
possible to detox. Your body can sort it all out.
That
You
is
can
what
sort it
this
out.
neutral ionic water literally does. I do believe that is what it does. And again, it's from the neutral fields of the.
Well, that was one reason why I did Ormus, and that was to balance the hemispheres of the brain. That was a major purpose why I did what BurnEye's doing. Basically, he does it with metals and stuff. I did it with salt.
The salt
Different
is
reaction.
the other aspect of it, and the Ormus of the metals is just contained within that salt. And then when you put the salt back into the water, you're then reionizing those Ormus metal elements. And
with a spectrum
back in.
With a spectrum,
with the whole spectrum of it, exactly. Because it's
start with distilled water.
It is. Yeah, it's whatever's in the salt, 100%.
Yeah, but the process is the interesting part for me now too, because that's the other half. You know, there's the logical side, but then part of that process and how you feel when you're doing all these things is huge, massive, right? You know, and that's kind of the other half of what makes this amazing. This what completes the picture, right? Which is that balance. Always looking for that balance. Or being open to it as well, because we get extremes. They push for the extremes here, so you're stuck on one side or stuck on the other. And that's then playing the game, you know, choosing a side, right? Two wings of the same bird. But wait, you're the bird, so just fucking fly yourself.
The hot and the cold. Last picture I'll show here, and then it's time to go because it is 6:20 a.m. here. That is the red. So this is the hydrogen compound that goes on the deposits on the cathode side, and it is very reactive, and it can catch fire when it dries out, when touches any chemical, and then after you get this, you get gray material and black materials on the cathode side. And well, I'm not going to give away, I mentioned them earlier, but we won't get into the hydrogen isotopes that form off of hydrogen compounds on the cathode side of reactions, but it will all be in my science paper that I will be co-publishing with Bob Grenier and presenting at Tesla Tech in August and Albuquerque, where I will, it's going to be epic time. Get to probably interview Terrence Howard while I'm there, doing a whole bunch of media stuff. It's going to be interesting. Going to be a good time. But yeah, I thank you for having me. And pray for the world. Pray for peace, protest, war. That's all I got to say. If you're going to take a side, take the side of no war. Let's all live in peace. Stop killing each other, humanity. You're muted if you're trying to speak, brother.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Hang on, I'm trying to get ready for work in the background. But man, yeah, I absolutely agree, dude. Like we're all in this together. The enemy is very clear. It's obvious who the real enemy is. Right? It's whoever it is that doesn't want us lot to work out what the fuck's going on and start sorting it out between us about how we're gonna continue forward. We've still got to let them play their shitty little games. And I personally think we're going to have to wait until the complete collapse of society before we can start to rebuild anything, because these institutions and organizations and corporations are all corrupt to the fucking core. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, said.
I agree.
I'm going to mute up again because I'm just getting changed.
Right. Well, I'll let you gone. I love yous and leave us. It's been fucking great again. So I'll speak to you next time.
Much love, man.
You too. Adios for now.
Thanks for joining us, dude. Thank you for being there. And everybody else as well. 5 Speed sat there very quiet, man. Thank you, dude. And Kalum, BurnEye, it's great to see you, dude, mate.
Always a pleasure, my friends.
I've missed our little interactions, and I've missed little science corner because, like I said, I'm more of a philosopher than a scientist. So
we are all sages.
I am. It's you know what I'm saying.
Much love. See you guys around.
So good hanging out with you guys. Always a pleasure, Richie. I'm gonna bounce out, and I'll just leave everybody with this: popularity without a positive purpose to advance life forward holds no value. Be the change you wish to see, focusing on a mission that protects both you and me. Much love, everybody.
Much love,
Much love.
Thanks for that. Kalum, dude. I might as well wrap up, and everybody's
everyone's
gone.
gone.
Might as well wrap up. I'm ready for work.
I just found the get out of here button. There we
go.
Thanks
for being here, dude.
Much love, dude.
Much love.
Always
and I'll be back again tomorrow. I'll be back again tomorrow morning before work. So just keep your eyes peeled. And to the chat room, to Dana and to Creek Mary, big thank you. Big thank you for the donations, and Sylvie and Guy Fawkes and Albert Billy and Voy and DJ Emo, JP, everyone. Oh, Polyester. Let's see, who have I missed? Anyone on one of BurnEye's channels? Mr. Mission Control, MCM. I'm scrolling here. Joe Bigman. Thank you very much for being here. The Fourth Wise Man. Thank you very much for being here, guys. Yeah, I'm going to go and get ready and toddle off to work and go and earn some fucking money. And it is only a part-time job, so all donations are very, very gratefully received, and still, unfortunately, do count on my quality of life depends on donations. So, and reinvestment into my channel and everything all depends on donations. And if you like these regular streams again, that requires me to pay for StreamYard, and I'm very lucky that Nia paid for this month, but I don't expect him to keep paying for it. So yeah, once again, thank you very much for being here. Your time and attention are very much appreciated.
When we relate to each other with attentive and generous gaze, Simone Weil said, attention is the purest form of generosity.
Celebrate good times, come on. Let's celebrate.
I just shit my pants. I literally fucking had a heart attack inside. Like, my butthole is like hugging the chair right now. Like, it's got a heartbeat of its own right now, type shit.
It makes sense, guys.
What float my metaphor boat? I can tell you what floated. No holes in the boat. That float my boat. No tidal east wave. This float my boat. Do not put large monster in my boat. That would sink it. So
Let's dance.
Stop
now, everybody. Say what now? What now?
Some people listening to this, if they do, will shake their heads and dismiss me as just another conspiracy theorist. Well, if you do...
You're damn right I am.
It makes sense, guys.
Emotional damage.